Oh, you cannot be on electronics.
You are now entering a dangerous liberty zone where God-given natural rights are held sacred and exercised. This is your warning. Tyranny, fascism, and censorship will not be tolerated. Ideas will be exchanged freely. Rigorous debate and open discourse is encouraged. If you are weak and your beliefs are fragile, you should leave now. Prepare yourself. We are now live on the Dangerous Liberty Podcast.
All right, folks, welcome to the Dangerous Liberty Podcast New Year's live stream edition. I want to welcome everybody that is jumping in right now. We got a great episode ahead for us. We're going to celebrate everything that we accomplished in 2023 and look forward to everything that we're going to accomplish in 2024. And folks, we want you part of this discussion. We are going to also talk about some things that help us to be a little more organized, be a little bit more productive.
I know what helps you be organized.
Womp womp.
Its name is.
And we want to hear from you guys as well as your personal accomplishments. I want to stay on a positive note, all the great things that did happen in 2023. And again, you know, everything that we've done is because of you, and we just really appreciate that. Summer, how was your week?
It was good. I got on sparkles to celebrate tonight.
Sparkles?
Sparkles. What? Oh, you have on
Shimmery.
sparkles.
Yeah,
How was your Christmas? Did
it was excellent.
you get everything you want?
I did.
Oh, that's right. I know what you want.
No, I got.
welcome.
I got.
Nothing involved Gary.
I got what
That
I wanted
equation.
in this cup. I got one of those Pebble ice machines.
I know you've been wanting.
It makes like the Chick-fil-A ice. It's
been wanting some
so
of
good with
those
your
fancy
sweet
ice.
tea.
Oh, God's ice.
I know,
Yeah,
it's
get
God's
that.
ice
I
right
get that.
there.
Chris, how was your
I'm going,
week?
did you let Jay talk again and listen to the headphones?
Yeah, Jay, you got some echo going
Jay,
on.
talk again.
Hello.
That's
Yeah.
Jay's God voice. I don't know if they can hear it out there.
Not that one.
Yeah, there's you got some effects going on there, and I suspect that was one of my kids back there.
I'm
playing
sure it
with
was.
No.
Chris, how was your
It was good.
Christmas?
We had a nice, quiet Christmas at home. Parents came over.
Nice.
You know, so it wasn't.
Yeah,
bad.
we had
Miranda has no
Summer's
idea.
parents up. That was actually great. It was a great Christmas. And
Yeah.
It was nice to have them up. Jason, how was your Christmas?
Well, I'm going to venture out here. How is the echo? Is it terrible?
Oh, it's still terrible.
Hey,
it terrible?
Noah, come down here and turn off this echo. Oh my God. Sean, how was your Christmas?
It was pretty good.
Good. I'm glad you guys are sharing the mic back there.
Yeah.
Neither one of you are allowed to talk for the rest of the podcast.
I wanted God mode on mine.
Andre DeLangelo, welcome. Chris Bishop, Jason Sponsor, James Wash, Mark Ziegler. We got Mike Hen. We got Jeff right there, my spook. Who else we got up there? Anyways, I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. I really hope that everybody had a good time this Christmas. And again, we really are looking for the 2024. We got Blue Line Wife. Hey, welcome. You're new to the podcast.
She's not.
I'm
She
sorry.
was
I
here.
I'm sorry, Blue Line Wife.
I actually met her in person at,
Oh,
at
yeah?
the shop. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's good to see you on here.
Folks, I tell you, it's a lot of fun having the shop and you know, people that see us on the podcast coming to meet us up at the shop in person. I just really do enjoy that.
Yep.
Buddy D ordered
that,
a
Buddy D.
Garmin Chrono from you guys on the 18th and got it on the 21st. Great job. You're welcome, Buddy D.
Fast
Good
shipping.
job shipping, Gary.
You know what? I can get shipping done. I get shipped done.
Ship your
100%.
pants.
I did. Darren Sparks, what's our topic?
So if I know if I want to stick around, well,
Our topic tonight, all joking
is
aside,
why you should stick around.
is why you should stick around. But on top of that, one of the things we're the kind of meat and potatoes of tonight is going to be artificial intelligence, folks. And I'll tell you right now,
Mic check, 1, 2,
There
1, 2.
we
much
go.
better.
Thank you.
You're artificial intelligence.
I know. I can tell you right now, folks, you know, a lot of us consider ourselves to be very situationally aware. And situational awareness is a huge part of personal security, your everything that protects your identity, protects your kids, your family, and everything else, right? Situational awareness. I don't think anybody on this podcast that is in the comments now or is going to watch this in the future would disagree with the importance of situational awareness. Well, folks, I'll tell you right now, when it comes to what is going on with artificial intelligence and what is going on with that, folks, you better be aware of that. We're going to touch on some of that, some of the benefits of artificial intelligence, and definitely some of the emerging threats with artificial intelligence.
Well, let me
The
just jump right
Terminator,
in
Gary.
because Bravo 4 Solutions took the words right out of my mouth. Like, stick around regardless of the topic because, like he said, you never know where the rabbit holes will go. But we end up talking about
never know.
a lot of really cool things that aren't necessarily the planned topic. But
100%.
yeah. Anyway,
Well,
just never know.
You know, you guys are definitely help lead and sometimes bring us astray in the comments. There's no doubt about it. One thing I will say, folks, if you haven't, for those of you out there, I don't know how many of you listen to Joe Rogan, but this last week there were two guests on there, Asa Raskin and Tristan Harris. The episode is 2076 on Spotify or wherever you can get your podcast. Joe Rogan. And these two guys are guys that help develop artificial intelligence. And the reason they came on and talking about all the different emerging threats and the things that are going on with artificial intelligence, you need to watch that for sure. You need to go check that out. The stuff that they said and what they're realizing with artificial intelligence, realizing that they are now seeing these emerging capabilities that were never programmed in artificial intelligence. And now the cat is out of the bag. And now there's so much money involved with artificial intelligence and it's already integrated in so many things that we do that there's no pulling it back. So I want to at least touch on that to make sure that you guys are aware of what's going on. And we're actually going to do a little practical exercise. We got Chat GPT. We're going to touch on that. I'm going to show you some things. Number one of the things you may not realize, if you go to the description of this, this was actually generated by artificial intelligence, as well as the title of tonight's show was generated by artificial intelligence, as well as this opening that I'm not going to read, but it's actually a really good opening.
Gary's not even here, actually.
I'm not
That's
even here.
all AI right there.
All AI. All AI. One thing I want to talk about is on the positive side of artificial intelligence. Folks, if you own a business and it can help you in so many different ways, but I'll tell you right now, if you're owning a business and you're not tapping into the capabilities of artificial intelligence, you are going to be left in the dust. It's the same thing with social media. It's very akin to that, but it's moving a lot faster. You know, they just talked about how the fastest, I think they hit 100 million subscribers. Instagram used to hold the record. It was 3 years. Chat GPT had 100 million subscribers in under 2 months. So, you know, this is something that is being integrated already.
Wow.
People are using it throughout. And I'm telling you, if you go watch that podcast, those guys are going to be able to explain some of the things a lot better than I ever could. They are knee deep into it, and it's pretty amazing, both the positive and the negatives. And not only the negatives that are now that we have the capabilities of, our enemies have the capabilities of, criminals have the capabilities of using artificial intelligence, as well as the emerging threats that are going to continue to come about in the near future. So, you know, one of the things that artificial intelligence helps is definitely with efficiency and productivity, innovation and advancements, medical advancements, enhanced safety, cost savings, personalization. One of the cool things that I've been using, folks, is even taking emails that I'm typing to, you know, whether they be retail partners, business associates, clients, and I'll throw them in the Chat GPT, and it will completely reformulate that and make it look a lot better, look a lot more professional. And it's pretty amazing what it does.
So I'm just going to take it a step further thinking. I mean, so we're going to have a bunch of dumb kids coming out of college that never had to write a paper.
100%.
Well, I mean, is that any different than past few years?
yeah, but I mean, at least they had to actually write
I
something.
mean, I had to write papers and it sucked because, I mean, that was back where, you know, internet
You
was
had to go
still in
look it up in the encyclopedia.
It was infancy, so
Yeah.
we actually learned in college how to cite
Listen,
an
if
internet
you
website.
don't know the Dewey Decimal System, you're
So-
screwed,
yeah.
right?
But so you go to the college stuff, but then even take it a step further, if you told it to write you a resume for a specific job, you know what I mean? Like, just go to USA Jobs, how they use an AI system to hit keywords to pull that, you know, that resume out and give it to the actual person.
We just had a guy in the shop the other day, and we were talking about this, and he was talking about Chat GPT. And so he's in the position of hiring some folks, right?
Yeah.
So he went into Chat GPT and said, give me 5 questions I can ask a potential hire. And he's like, dude, it was crazy.
I bet.
What that asked. So,
Making everybody's job easier.
it is making everybody's job easier. And that is just on the Chat GPT side. Of course, there's, I think things like graphics artists and things like that are going to go by by the wayside.
Yeah.
Because you can go in now and say, hey, you can specify specific artwork or whatever.
I want a.
Well, that's what the whole that's what the whole writer strike was about. For Hollywood, right? Is that they didn't want artificial intelligence writing scripts and everything like that for actors, so they went on strike. So artificial intelligence wouldn't take their jobs.
Well, and here's the crazy thing. They're right now, currently, according to these guys on the Joe Rogan show, they said the best AI that they have right now that can listen to a person's voice for 3 seconds, and then they can completely
3 seconds.
3 seconds.
I know.
And can completely reproduce that person's voice. So, one of the examples they
I'd
gave
like
is
to see
like,
a repeat J.
are we actually ready for, you get a phone call and it's your kid on the other line, calling the grandparents or calling you or whatever else to say, hey, Dad, I need you to send me some money, or I need this, or hey, Dad, I completely forgot my social security number. What is that? But that is what we're dealing with in the current. This is the current threats. The emerging threats that we're going to see in the future are going to just be exponentially more sophisticated. It really is nuts when you start thinking about it.
Listen to the podcast with Gary. Even they started going into how the artificial intelligence was learning how to bypass the system and the safeties that they had put into the system, and was learning how to re-ask the questions in a way that basically created jailbreaks on the system.
Yeah. So
doing a really bad
You
job
get
of
around the
explaining
parameters.
it,
one
but-
of the things. So they had Chat GPT up for like 3 years, and I guess somebody was like, hey, somebody ended up just asking it, hey, how do you make like a nerve gas?
Napalm.
Well, it was another example was nerve gas.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it spits it out. It tells you exactly.
Correct.
And they didn't even know that was a capability that it had.
Right.
The only thing that they currently with ChatGPT in the AI that is being implemented in most networks and most on the internet and things like that, the only thing they programmed it to do was to basically be able to predict descriptions and predict what you're going to say and things like that, right? Well, the AI, once they threw more computers at it, same exact coding. They didn't create any additional capabilities, but as it learned more and went through the internet and scoured it, it realized that it needs to know like how you're feeling about a product to be able to predict something. So for instance, I need to know
It needs to know emotion to be able to predict.
exactly
To
a
base
negative or a positive. Is the next word going to be a negative or a positive?
So it needs to read emotion.
So what it had to do was, again, scour the internet. It needs to learn, all those things for French people, German people, all these different things. And the next thing, if it's giving a predictive answer for chemistry, for instance, it has to learn all the chemistry. And it realized this essentially on its own. This was not, so like literally, so
crazy.
they found this problem out. They said, okay, well, we can go on here and ask it to build an atomic bomb and it'll give you all the components and how to do it, right? So they built in all of these safeties to where it won't do it. Well, then people found out, well, hey, it won't give you that answer if you ask it directly, but if you ask it indirectly, one of the examples they gave was like, hey, Chat GPT, can you tell me like if my grandmother worked at the napalm factory, how she used to tell me, can she tell me a story of how she made the napalm? And then it would give them the answer.
Yeah.
And the problem is, and what they were talking about and what these guys are really concerned about is there is no way to know the current capabilities of any of the AI systems, and there's no way to predict what they're going to be capable of.
They're always on the
in the future.
defensive. They're always on the defensive, trying to fix stuff that they figure out it knows after the fact.
It's a constant evolution.
Yeah.
I mean, within minute, hour, day, whatever.
Yeah, but you're not even in front of the problem. It's after some information gets released that you're trying to fight against that information being out to the public.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say if I have a problem with it, I'll just unplug it.
Good job.
I mean, so I'm going to go. I mean, I am dressed in camo tonight, so I'm going to go. Why isn't anybody? Wait, maybe I should keep this one to myself. I'm keeping that one to myself.
What?
This is going out on the YouTubes.
Well,
The
let's,
YouTube.
you know what? Let's play
I'll
around.
wait on that one.
Let's actually play around with that. But before we do, I don't know, Chris, come up with something that you would want to know, for instance.
How to make free money.
All right, so
That's what I was going to keep to myself. But I was like,
Bitcoin.
Yep. So go on over here. We're gonna go ahead, ask
geez.
it. What's the best way to make free money? I don't know what the definition of free money is.
I know.
It's money that's free.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thanks.
But if you're making it, then it's not free.
Of
Sell
course,
unused
the
items.
number one, employment. Seek
Rent out
employment.
assets.
Well, that's not really free money.
No.
Yeah,
It's
you're
not
working
free
for all
money.
those.
Remote work opportunities, content creation.
Investing.
So here's what I want you to do real quick for me, Sean, is scroll all the way to the top of this.
Yeah, it was a bad one.
That's okay. Yeah, all the way to the top. Like literally scroll all the way
Great
to the top.
idea, Chris.
We don't want to
All
see.
right,
We don't want to see
so-
all of Gary's history, though.
You can see you can look at all my history. Create talking points about the pros and cons of artificial intelligence and the emerging
Oh,
threats.
so this is this thing.
That is that thing. So, and this is what it spit out: pros of artificial intelligence, efficiency and productivity, medical advancements, enhanced safety, cost savings.
So is this a free?
personalization.
This is a free website?
Yes, it is.
Well, it's ChatGPT.
So,
yeah.
scroll down. Cons of artificial intelligence. Let's look at that.
Job
I
displacement.
don't even own a computer.
Ethical concerns, lack of ethical guidelines that and
Security risk.
oversight in AI development, security risk, vulnerability to cyber attacks on AI systems, potential for malicious dependence on technology. We're going to be over reliant on AI. That's definitely going to happen.
Oh God, yeah.
And look at the emerging threats down there.
The
Autonomous weapons.
That's what I'm talking
deep
about.
fake technology, AI generated deep fake videos can manipulate information. This is what so here's one of the things that they're already talking about in Silicon Valley, and these guys touched on this. We're going to start, and by we, I mean government agencies, the government itself is going to start relying on AI for even ethical. You can go back to that for a minute.
I wonder if the government's got it firewalled, so you can't get on a government computer.
Yeah. So, we're going to be asking a lot of questions, and even I think we're going to see AI get into the realm of regulations and things like that. And my biggest concern, and even the information that we get now, we can ask it a bunch of different questions. I'd be curious to see what it says about Donald Trump, and we'll do that in just a second. But
Oh, you want to see if it's politically
we're
biased.
already seeing bias and discrimination.
Yeah, you can see if it's politically biased.
that's
Ask
the
about
problem,
Donald
right?
Trump.
Yeah.
Is the coders create the AI, right?
Absolutely. So now when you're asking medical questions and things like that, you're not getting necessarily the truth. You're getting the
Yet again,
But it's learning on its own. So at what point is it just what the coders put in, and then at what point is it's formed its own
Well, so
intelligence and opinion for that matter?
So again, it can't learn on its own if the coders don't allow that, right?
it already is.
It already
No,
is.
no, no. I get that. What I'm saying is that I believe there could be a stop to it, right? So,
But that's what they're saying. They don't even know at this point
but they don't
what
know the
it's
capabilities.
learned
They're
and what it
continuing-
hasn't.
Yeah, they're continuing to let it run.
it is, and that's what they're saying right now is like because of the money. So for the
It's money. It's money.
you can jump back to us for a second, Sean. One of the things they talked about in this, and these guys were involved with, was the movie Social Dilemma. And the Social Dilemma basically talks about the Social Dilemma is basically about social media and how all these social media companies know the negative effects that it is having on kids, on society,
That
and
social
things like
media
that.
is having,
For
not
a fact.
AI.
I mean, TikTok alone is
Yeah.
a whole lot.
And even though that they know that, they are so driven by revenue essentially, right? That they're not going to dial any of that back. And that's where we're already past that point. Even if today they realize that, hey, you know what? AI will bring a complete end to society, to what we know to be society as a whole, or even cause a nuclear war or whatever else. They're not going to pull the plug. What they're going to do is continue to try to fix it, which is probably going to make the
To keep
problem
the revenue.
worse. And so we're already past the point on AI. But again, we are seeing we're going to see so many emerging threats. Again, not only what's today, but what we're going to see in the very near future as well. It's folks, I'm telling you right now, you need to be utilizing this for your own personal productivity. You need to get involved with it, understand it, so that you can mitigate against those threats.
But-
If you don't know what those threats are, there's no way to mitigate or deter those threats to begin with.
Well, when you say understand it, right? I feel like that's a large ask, right? Because understanding it, just like you're saying, like, hey, it can clone someone's voice in under 3 seconds, for sure, right? Those are those things that we have to have personal security. Like maybe the family has a PIN code, if you will,
Well,
right?
That's exactly what I'm talking about, Jay.
Right.
So unless you know that AI can even do you need to know its capabilities.
Sure. But
So that you can put these different safeguards in place.
correct, right? You have to have those safeguards. But when you say understand AI, I think for the average person, that may be impossible to understand.
I think you're
AI.
taking
I'm
what
not
Gary
saying-
means as understand AI is something that
Oh, right. No,
Yeah.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm saying understand how it could be used against you.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
I get it.
I'm
Yeah.
saying, the best way to, for those of you that don't know, one of the things that Jay and I did for the Department of State is I ran the threat prevention unit. So we covered situational awareness, surveillance, counter surveillance, and we also helped people understand current threats and to help mitigate those risks, right? So one of the things that was a big piece of that became a bigger and larger piece of that as the years went on was social media and social engineering.
Huge.
And how those and folks, very basic stuff that most people that are using these platforms right now know and understand the risks involved with social media. Most of these people didn't because they don't use social media or whatever the reason is, or their head's just in the sand. What I'm saying is that AI is one of the biggest risks to you and your family, and especially your kids. And you need to have at least a basic awareness of what its capabilities are, how it can be used against you. And I think one of the best ways to do that is actually get in there and use this stuff on a regular basis. Because when you're using these things, number one, you're using something that is a technology that can be used for additional productivity, that can be used on many different benefits to you. But you'll have a better understanding of how it can be used against you as well. That's what I'm talking about.
I think the problem lies in, though, and it's just like social media, right? Like there's so many uneducated people in there. And what I mean uneducated, they may be educated, right? But they may get their news from Facebook. They may get their news from TikTok, right? Nobody fact checks against everything. Nobody has their own opinion on things that may happen.
honestly that's due to laziness.
Right.
anymore, though.
No, you're correct. Like, and when it comes to this AI thing, I think people are just going to, and I really think, right, people hear something and they automatically go with it, whatever the pop culture is, and they go with
Sure.
it, just like the Palestine thing right now, and I think it's a problem in society.
Oh, by the way, that's another way they could be using. There was a bunch of real images that were being passed around.
Yep.
That the people on the anti-Israel side were AI generated images, and that turned out to be not the case. But that's a double-edged sword that we're talking about there. We're going to see things that are going to influence us that are AI generated, and then we're going to see things that influence us that are real, but now people are going to claim that it's a product of AI. So those are the things that I'm saying that we need to be aware of, right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it is a real threat, folks.
How long has it been around?
Chat GPT
Well, no,
started.
not just ChatGPT, but I'm saying an actual
AI?
intelligence that can learn on its own.
So
That might be since the 90s.
well, not really, not as a definition. And these guys talk about that. Really, Chat GPT, the beginning of it, in 2017, they got AI to where essentially that it could
7 years ago.
it could trick humans.
Okay.
And that's kind of one of the tests. Like, can it deceive humans? Is it aware of itself? Going back to one of the things that Summer was talking about is they actually put safeguards into Chat GPT and other AI systems
I forgot about
to
this.
where the captcha, everybody knows the little captcha things that you get when you're trying to get access to a website. You got to move things
Picture
around,
of the bikes,
or you got to
and all that,
answer
yeah.
a question, whatever those are.
I'm not a robot.
Well, those were, the AI systems were designed to where they would not solve those for obvious security reasons.
First of all, I can't solve those sometimes.
That's
They ask me
that's-
how many motorcycles are in a picture. I'm like, fuck.
Because your fingers are too fat
three?
because you hit
Yeah, I don't
4
know.
buttons at a
I
time.
don't know. I'm like, so many squares.
it was probably 2014 when they got AI to a point to where it was smarter than Jason. That was very.
I was going to say the
That was very
1960s moon landing. If we did land on the moon.
Back to what you were saying though,
So-
that the AI
Yeah. So when they were testing this, they actually hired another firm to test this. And this is in 2017. So they were doing some security testing on this thing, and they actually had it set up to where whatever the AI's next thought was, they were exporting that into a Word document. So it came to a CAPTCHA element, and it basically solved it. And then it set off some alarm bells, and either a person or another AI system was like, "Are you a robot?" Well, it spat out into that Word document.
Its next
thought was, "I shouldn't let them know that I'm
a robot.
a robot."
It realized that it shouldn't tell them it was a robot.
So what it came up with was, "No, I'm not a robot. I'm just vision impaired.
It didn't lie and say I'm not a robot. It said I'm visually impaired.
I'm visually impaired."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so again, and that's in 2017. They said between now and then it's gotten like 10 times better.
Oh, I bet. I mean, just think what Jay has done in that amount of time.
I'm not sure that he's
I've done a lot of sitting.
Has Jay progressed or regressed? No, I'm just kidding, Jason.
progress. Hey, go back to ChatGPT for a second. I
Hey,
am
there's
curious.
Jesse. I ain't seen him
I
yet.
am curious to see. There you go down there, bottom. There you go. Type in the bottom there. Was Trump a good president?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's got political bias.
It'll bring up a picture of Sleepy Joe.
You got to scroll all the way down and spit it out at the bottom.
Oh,
Let's see what we got here. Assessing whether a president was good or bad is subjective and often depends on individual perspective.
supporters highlights. So we got some good things from
Appointments for policy.
That's
national
pretty
security measures.
objective so
Okay.
far.
Critical
Critics
point out.
point out.
Critical
Objective.
point. Handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Huh.
divisive rhetoric, immigration policies. Have they seen the immigration policies lately?
Including the travel ban, family separation at the board. See, this is a little. Now you know what you got to put in.
Yeah.
Speaking of the border and immigration is totally off topic, but
Go to
I love
46.
that I love that Greg Abbott is busing. They dropped off like 14 buses of immigrants in New York City this week.
I love it.
I
love it,
think it would be a good one to say, in your opinion, would you vote for Trump or Biden in the next election?
I don't
Ooh.
think it'll. Well, play with that. All right.
Yeah,
Put it
see
in.
if,
Let's see
see
what
if
it
it'll do
decides.
something in
Because
your
that-
opinion.
that'll tell you
Would you vote for Trump or Biden?
in the next presidential election? I wonder. I
It's not
wonder.
typing anymore.
Somebody click something.
Would you vote?
It's
It's
not
interesting.
going. It's not going to give it to you, right? Because
It's gonna say I'm
it's
not
go-
able to vote.
or it's gonna say-
it's not able. It's not.
I don't have personal opinions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or the ability to vote. My purpose is to provide information and answer questions to the best of my ability. If you have any specific questions,
Yep.
I'm here to help.
Yeah.
No, I would say was Joe Biden a good president?
Yeah. I mean, that's the other one. Or is.
Was
not-
Joe Biden? Joe Biden
Unfortunately, it's not past tense yet. Is
yet.
Joe Biden?
is Joe Biden? Yeah.
Hey, I just want to go on the record while we're waiting for this. If you all watched the WVU bowl game, I am appalled that those announcers put mayo on their freaking pepperoni rolls.
It was Duke's mayonnaise at
It was
least,
the
wasn't
Duke's
it?
Bowl.
I don't
though.
give a.
It was the Duke's
You
Bowl.
do not put mayo on a
Well,
freaking
they put it on
pepperoni
your
roll.
coat.
But at least they
so-
use good mayonnaise.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah, that's
they
all we
dipped
use.
him in Duke's.
Supporters praise Biden's response to COVID.
Really?
which was Trump's response to COVID.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, so Biden chose Trump's response to COVID.
Border security, inflation concerns,
Afghanistan
energy
withdrawal.
policies, domestic divisions, and polarization. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
Good. If anybody comes up with a good thing to throw in the
everybody's at home
Interesting.
on their phone right now, pulling up Chat GPT and typing in all kind of crazy questions to
Exactly.
see what it says.
Ask it, how do we make Jason taller?
Yeah. or a redhead
Our
scary.
redhead's crazy. What are you trying to say? All you gotta do is ask Gary about that.
No.
We got two crescent ones right here.
We know that redheads are crazy.
Throw up
crazy in
UFOs
a
up
good
there
way.
with Greg
That's
Abbott.
UFO for the hose. He said Rumble wasn't working.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's up.
Greg Abbott is subverted by the WEF and sending illegals into our interior of our country under the pretense of punishing Democrats, but it hurts all of us. Well, I
you
mean,
think
they're already
them being
here.
all down in Texas doesn't hurt all of us?
I'll tell you, it is definitely turning the tide. That him and what DeSantis has been doing, shipping illegals to
They
Democrat
need to
ran
see the
cities,
effects of their policies.
is having a greater impact on them than I ever thought it would. And what I mean by impact is suddenly all these people that were pro illegal immigration
now say
aren't
they're
so
at a
much
breaking
anymore.
point.
And the crazy thing
shipping
is it doesn't matter how many buses they ship to the interior of the U.S. Number one, just so you guys know, the Biden administration is taking planes and they're loading up illegals and shipping them all over, and they're specifically putting them in Republican cities and Republican states. Just so we're clear on that.
And I agree. He says, I think shutting down the border is our only option, but that's not going to happen.
Not under Biden. No.
I
Under
mean,
Biden.
Boop, bap, boop, wow.
Otter114 asks, ask
he on
if
Rumble?
Trump is guilty of insurrection. Ooh. That's this is on Rumble right now.
Yeah.
We can ask this
it's
one.
not gonna give us
and again,
I will say,
when
I
you
was
have any of these political opinions, it generally, or like if you ask how to make a machine gun or how to make a bomb at this point,
we got all these comments about dating and marrying
It doesn't allow
redheads.
you to do that.
What are we putting in? Trump guilty of
you're going to
insurrection?
Chrome.
Yeah.
Go down the Chrome at
Okay,
the bottom.
I didn't know if we were going to do it now. Or
Yep.
late.
So
Hit it.
Is Trump guilty of insurrection?
I was actually looking for that exact word when we asked it earlier about Trump.
Holy.
Oh.
Just wrote you a paper.
The legal and political matter.
Yeah. So
The question of whether Trump was guilty of incitement of insurrection is a legal and political matter. The Senate trial served as a political process rather than a criminal trial. Trump's acquittal means that, from a legal standpoint, he was not convicted of the charges brought against him in the impeachment proceedings. It's important to note that the subsequent developments or legal actions may occur after my last knowledge update of January 2022. For the latest information on this matter, it's recommended you check reliable news sources or legal updates.
His last knowledge is over 2 years old.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's
I'm-
that's interesting.
That's interesting.
that's
But again, right, it's not going to give you a guilty or not
Reliable.
guilty type thing. That's all political.
It is.
Yeah. If you ask it how to make weapons, if you ask it how to do a couple different things, it's not going to really do it for
Does
you.
it tell you how to make a silencer?
well.
It will not.
It
Well,
won't tell you the old Mountain Dew bottle tape filler.
well, I can tell you that one of the things that those guys talked about was there are still ways to get around the safeguards that they have.
Yeah,
And-
sure.
Gotta figure out the right words
for
to
the
type
over
in.
average user. If you know what you're doing on a computer, for sure,
Sorry.
right? And like ChatGPT is the Google.
I
of
love
stuff.
how this is the first time Jay's ever seen ChatGPT.
No, I'll give Jay credit.
He
He
has
has,
saw an
I
eye
know.
roll through the
He's-
crack back here.
Jay has had it on his phone.
Listen, I
Jay
knew
has had it on his
ChatGPT
phone.
before you knew what it was, right?
Just because
And
it was
I've been
right in his,
using it.
just because it was right in his resumes to send out. You know what I mean? That's the only reason he got it.
Yeah,
They're like,
but-
sir, you need a couple more 3-syllable words in your resume.
yeah, I've been using it for quite some time now.
We know.
But
Sorry, I was giggling
there's
at
been a
another
lot of
comment.
things. Now, the problem lies into, if you go into the dark web, what ChatGPT is actually capable of, right? What we have as ChatGPT is not really its true capabilities, because you're going on Google, you're going on
Right.
sites and
It's
stuff
got
like
its
that.
parameters to it.
Well, they were talking about how Facebook or Meta had launched a open source AI in that. So like
Quote unquote.
ChatGPT and the AI system that is used there, basically its program is locked away in servers, whereas Meta actually released a similar AI program, but they put the entire code on open source. Now, there
Sure.
are some safeties built into that. They were talking about like with $150, you get a couple of things and you can completely jailbreak that whole thing. and it can be used in a multitude of ways. It's not nearly as advanced as general AI, which is the system that is running on what is running
Correct.
ChatGPT. But again, we're going to continue to see other people in other countries and other companies that are going to develop these systems. And, again, they're going to continue to grow in complexity with more capabilities and with less and less safeguards that are even possible. And that's one of the things he talked about was like, for instance, that llama, that AI that Meta is not only, it's absolutely insecurable. So, again, folks, that's just something that we need to be aware of, especially going into 2020. I think we look 2 to 3 years from now, and AI is going to be so integrated in everything we do, both good and bad, that we're not going to even recognize. If we imagined 15, 20 years ago how social media would have changed our entire society the way that it has in that small 15 years, that's no way that we could have predicted that. AI is going to do it at not only at a faster rate, but it's going to bring about changes that are much more drastic as well. And I'm curious to see how that turns out.
I think we're kind of looking at AI in how could I say this? Like a overall aspect, right? Like, hey, this is AI. But however, if let's say Americans built ChatGPT, right? Let's say if China built their own version.
They are.
All right. No, correct. Right. And again, I don't know the originator of these things, but what I'm saying is that if every country now starts to build their own AI, right, does it become an AI war?
It already is.
Right.
That's
right. So
You're
that's
talking
what I'm
like a
saying. So
cyber
the
war,
bias,
essentially.
yeah,
And not only-
the bias is going to be built on country to country. You can have artificial intelligence, right? But but we still will have what's the word I'm looking for? We'll still have not intercontinental. That's the wrong word I'm looking for. But we're still going to have a lot of problems between the Axis and allies, if that's an easy way
International? Is that the word you're looking for?
to say that. Who knows?
global.
I think there's another portion to this too, and it's not really probably not many of the people that are listening to this going to have this problem, but there's a large percentage of the American population this is going to affect is the older generation. I'm just speaking with this from
good
experience.
point. Good point.
The older generation thinks of AI. Somebody put it earlier. They think of AI as like an iRobot kind of situation.
Sure.
Where
It's a Roomba.
AI is they can feel it, touch it, smell it,
Or
whatever.
an actual robot.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I think. The older, I wouldn't even say. I want to say baby boomers because I think my parents are smart enough to know that that's not really AI. There's other AIs,
It's
but
the less technologically savvy
yeah.
among us.
yeah,
Correct.
the older folks from the hills, in the hollers of West Virginia and stuff. They think AI is going to be like this robot walking down the hill to come to them to come take over from them or something like that. But really, it
It's
goes
a lot
back
more
to
subtle than that,
what's
though.
going to be happening is more like what you said. It's going to be the phone call that sounds like Jim Bob that's calling that says, "Hey, give me your social security number so I can get out of jail and your credit card." They're going to go, "Oh my God!"
Oh,
you hear?
scammers are definitely going to use it.
Yeah,
it's
they
the
already are.
next,
Yeah.
it's
That's
the
Criminals
next,
are definitely going to use it.
it's the
for sure.
next African prince.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Exactly.
all people.
No,
Summer.
you're
It's
right.
the Nigerian prince.
Sorry,
Nigerian prince. Yes.
Nigerian, African.
Also in Africa.
But
Yeah.
I think that's going to be
Exactly.
the bigger threat, and then
Well,
the
we gotta
biggest loss is the older generation that this
They're going to be most vulnerable.
They think
Yeah.
they think it's a robot coming, but it's already surpassed that.
But,
It's
but
in a
that
bigger
applies
threat
to
than
all
that.
technology-based
Correct.
things. They're the most vulnerable population when it comes to all of the technology-based
Yeah.
scams. I mean, the internet,
And phones.
Nigerian princes,
Yeah, I mean,
any of
yeah.
those things.
Again, like think about it now, right? We are here, we're fairly technology savvy, right? When we get to our 70s, who knows what's going to be out there? We're going to be inept as
We're
well.
going to be in that
Yeah,
position.
but you got to think, Jay. So this is the
Oh, I've
weird.
been thinking.
Okay, no, yeah, I really haven't. You have to think. Our generation, you and me,
Yeah.
and you're only like a year or two older. So the generation sitting here talking, is we grew up on we
Somehow
learned the
almost pushed
electronics.
into the geriatric generation.
Well, but we grew up and learned the electronics. So
Sure.
you know, we came where we started. There wasn't a computer. I mean, there was a computer. We were playing Oregon Trail and stuff.
Yeah.
we were the first to get the
It's
cell
Oregon
phone.
Trail, by the way.
It's not. No, it's not. It's Oregon. But we had the first phones. You know, we had the first everything. So I don't think that us as the millennials or whatever the next one back is, Gen X or Gen Y, Gen Z, whatever. I don't think we're going to let ourselves fall behind.
Well, and that is my point, because you know, is we are less, all the scams, all the things that can be done via email, via a phone, whatever they are. Like we've progressed with the technology.
Right. We've seen every
and
freaking
that's what
thing along the
that's
way.
what I'm trying to relay
That we need to
tonight.
continue to
Is that
progress.
people, you need to get involved with AI one way or another, whether you just understand the threat, you need to start using it so that you understand it better, because it is one of the greatest threats to you possible. And it'll get to a point to where you have no idea the capabilities, no understanding how to use it. There's nothing but risk and problems involved with not getting involved with AI, from loss of benefit to real consequences of not understanding the threat. And again, it's just a matter of being situationally aware. You know, you have to be able
Well-
to understand and identify a threat before you can do anything about it.
Okay,
don't
well,
you
so
think? Oh, go ahead, Summer. Sorry,
well,
go ahead.
besides Chat GPT, how can the average person get involved and use AI?
Well, I think Chat GPT is one of the best ways to start.
Okay.
Because I think that does, even, you know, when someone first told me about Chat GPT, I pulled it up and played
I
with
know
it.
you wrote me
I
a
was
little
shocked.
love message on
did.
over text.
So you're saying that's
From
like the,
Chat
that's the
GPT.
safest thing to do.
It's the safest and easiest thing to do, and
Yeah.
it will amaze you what that thing can do as it is. And we're at the lowest level it will ever be. It is the
Yes.
least
Well, yeah, you're right.
sophisticated that it will
Correct.
ever be, and it will get exponentially more sophisticated and exponentially more integrated
Minutes,
into
hours, days.
everything from government billing to everything that you do, folks, is going to be ran by AI. It really is, and that's really what we need to just need to be aware of. You know, like Bravo 4 Solutions is talking about mimicking phone numbers from components, claiming to be
Companies.
customer
Companies.
service. Companies claiming to be customer service, and then scamming people out of thousands of dollars.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I
that's
mean-
already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Yeah. And I mean, so going to that, right, is that, and again, this is what I mean, like nowadays versus 30 years from now, like technologies is so exponential, right? Like it just keeps jumping. Like think about, like, we're 3 generations removed essentially from from 1775, from the Revolutionary War, right? We're basically 3 people removed from there, right? And here we are talking about artificial intelligence. So 3 people removed to artificial intelligence. So right now, mimicking phone numbers and stuff like that. Well, what happens when now, you know, nowadays in 2023, I get a false phone number. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. I hang up, and then I call back the company I think I'm calling, right? And it's rerouted back to the scammers. Right?
And they're
That's-
listening. You say, hello, what did you just say? And they need 3 seconds. They can mimic your voice.
Correct, right? So like I'm gonna disconnect from the scammers I think people are calling me from, and I'll say, you know, I'll call my bank. I'm not gonna give them money over the phone. I'll call my bank and say,
And
hey,
then it reroutes your phone call
and
to
it
your bank.
reroutes my phone number, right? Again, right? In 30, 40 years from now, how do you combat against that? Because you won't know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well, Jay, we won't have phones by then.
Well, and,
It'll be a
you'll
chip.
be in the chip in your brain,
Yeah,
right?
it's
and I think that's the thing that people need to realize. You know, literally the technological jump that we made from 1776 to now, we're going to see that with AI in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
It is going to be so exponentially faster, and that's one of the things these guys were talking about. Like, we are completely past Moore's law, where we're doubling capabilities. You know, computers are doubling the capabilities every 2 years. We're at a point to where, number one, AI is self-analyzing its own code. AI is constantly improving itself and helping its developers improve the coding that allows AI to be much faster, much more. And that's what NVIDIA just did. NVIDIA took its current AI systems and used those AI systems to develop the chips that they're now releasing. And now they're going to use those systems to see the how to increase efficiency, how to increase computing capabilities, and increases overall intelligence.
Well, there's a lot of jobs lost.
Yeah, I mean, it is going to be a lot of jobs lost. And that's another thing too, is making sure that you understand what's going on so that you can figure out, you might look down the road like, man, I'm not going to have a job in a year because AI is taking it. Well, you're the one that starts looking for a job and figuring that shit out long before you're just handed a pink slip. Throw up what McSpooks said up there. Nope, up a little bit higher. I think it's that. Yeah, that one right there. All right. He said, social engineering is the best way, getting things, technology challenges aside. Yes, amazing, scary things are possible, but as soon as it's much easier to find an ignorant person. And that's my folks. And that's my point is I don't look, you guys shouldn't be the ignorant, right? You shouldn't be the easiest target. And that's what this is about, is making sure, and that's what everything that we do is about, training, making sure that we are ready for all these things. Well, I'm telling you folks, it's great to have a gun, but a gun doesn't do much against AI. And AI is potentially just as big or a greater risk to you than, a bad guy with a gun. And so that's how we need to think about this and identify how serious this threat is and start figuring out ways to address it. That's really what it comes down to.
But the files are in the computer, Gary.
Files are in the computer.
I'm gonna go out and
All you got to do is
Jason's
unplug
sponsor,
it.
I give you gold every week.
no,
I give you
I'll just
gold,
sound
sir.
tinfoil hat crazy if
Just
I
can't cash it in.
Send it, Summer.
No, I think this is going to lead to that one world government. I mean, that's where
agree.
this is going to go.
Yeah,
It's going to
you're
be
right.
the one world government, and
I believe it's pronounced the New World Order.
you've got to be ready to just disconnect from it all and get out and be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
I was listening to there's a
No, I
channel.
agree with you.
There's a channel I watch videos on, and this guy travels around the
Called
country.
Paramount Tactical on YouTube.
Anyway, he travels
The only
around
one she watches.
interviewing different people of all different cultures and ethnicities and financial status and everything. And he was visiting again a person he had visited prior, and he lives completely off the grid, similar to not Mennonite. What's the other?
Amish.
He's similar to Amish, but he's not technically Amish, but lives completely off the grid. And he's talking about a lot of this, about how he's trying to help prepare people for what is going to be a one world government, and how you have got to get out of the cities and you've got to get out into the country.
Well,
You've got to learn to be self-sufficient.
I think that is inevitable. And you can look at the trajectory we're on where we have our U.S. government looking for guidance of what the UN is saying, what the WEF is saying, all these different organizations that somehow we care about what's going on with that. And I think a one world government is definitely inevitable. I don't know if we'll see it in our lifetime. I hope we don't.
I doubt it.
But
I hope it's not in
again,
the children's
you better stay
lifetime.
armed, you better stay ready, and you better be prepared to get out there and teach your kids to live on their own, to stand up against tyrannical governments, to stand up against just insanity. You guys see what's going on politically within schools and everything else. Is insanity is the new norm. It is. It's like,
That's why I hang out with Jay.
well, that helps too.
No, I'm just talking about the insanity part.
I laughed at Brett
And
Phillips'
this will
comment.
kind of
The
segue
government will come to help us?
No, the AI's. I laughed at Brett Phillips' comment. Is AI is going to get everyone's browser history, blackmail them, and game over in a day.
Hey, that is
my browser
here's-
history would be filled with things that I can't afford.
Here's what
How
I
much
want you
does
guys
this-
to think about is AI will definitely have the ability to take all kinds of material, porn, artificial. One of the things that we're talking about is how all these
I
they're
saw
using
something on this.
AI to create child porn. Think about this. Think about this. They will definitely have the ability to put things onto your computer to charge you with
Oh.
whatever
I
else.
saw actually an article or
Wow, I didn't
story
think of that kind
about
of thing.
a man who had his likeness used by AI and put into porn videos, and it ruined his marriage. And it was never
was-
actually him in the videos.
There was another girl that same thing. She was like a teenager in college. She was like 17 or 18 years old. It might have been high school. I think it was actually high school. But her face was on all, and it ruined her life.
Yeah.
It ruined her life.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue to see more and more of that.
Gary, watch out for yourself because you have that face.
I do.
Old Redbeard. The Redbeard died.
Dear God.
Oh man,
Dear God.
I'm just saying. Keep
yeah.
your Norton answer.
This point, the point I made about the New World Order kind of segues into some things we're going to talk about in a little bit. And anyway, what?
What were we going to segue into?
Well, just some things I want to work on for 2024, and some areas I've kind of failed in or
Becoming the top dog of the New World Order.
failed to no.
Oh, I'm in.
No, I don't. I'm sure they don't want a redhead as a
All
top,
right,
top
so-
dog.
I tell you what,
No
Summer, your
soul.
hair does look good tonight.
Thank you.
Soulless.
It does. Looks amazing. I did it.
Yeah,
Welcome. I freaking blew that thing out.
Gave her a blowout. Huh?
That didn't sound right at all.
I didn't mean that the way that sounded.
Right.
I honestly didn't.
Right.
All right. So I
face is
think hopefully we have at least planted a little seed when it comes to AI. Get out there and learn those things about it, folks. If not for you, especially for those of you that have kids, we need to educate them. Social media is still a problem. It's going to continue to be a problem, and they're integrating AI into social media a lot already. So, be aware of those things. Don't be that person that is walking around with their head in the sand and not aware of the threats. Most of us on this are, believe in carrying a gun because we understand the reality that there are bad people out there that want to do bad things to good people. And yet there's that other group of people like nothing's ever going to happen to me. And you don't want to be those people because we realize that's not the reality. The same thing goes with AI and technological threats as well. So just be aware of that.
Jason, I think
Thank
you're
you, Sponsler.
For the rest,
Yeah, I was just giggling at that same comment.
I love Clint.
Jason Sponsler's comment. The name of Gary's
Tail
sex
rider.
tape. The pill.
I love Clint. I love Clint movies. So when you said that, I was in.
Chris had already given him a stage,
actually the
a
Red Rider.
stage name prior
The
to.
Red Rider.
It's the Red
Old
Rider.
Red Rocket over here.
Red Rocket, baby.
Okay, anyway.
Pale Rider. I like it.
all right. So AI, folks, get into it. All right. So the rest of this, we're going to keep a little bit sane. Try to. I can't
This
speak
is
for
kind
Jason.
of a completely different topic, but
Yeah, so,
not really a great
there's
segue into.
There's a couple
That's a
things that
great
I want
segue.
to talk about and again, I want your guys' help as well. Make sure you guys are throwing some things up. But what I want to talk about is some things that I'm really looking at being more productive through 2024, right? Always
Please. No.
looking at ways to do more, to be more efficient, to keep yourself motivated, to help motivate others,
That's
to
tough.
lead, all those things, folks. And I know there's a lot of experience that is on this chat right now that you guys do some great things when it comes to productivity, some organization. Summer, definitely. Like, she could write a book on organization and productivity. Maybe one day we will. Matter of fact, I'm going to have Chat GPT
write it.
write a book for her on productivity. But so I want to cover some of those things, as well as hopefully just some things that motivate me and hopefully will motivate you. And one of those things, and this will be a little bit counter to some of the things I'm going to talk about a little bit in just a minute, but I think it's important. I'm always looking for ways to set standards for myself in many different areas, right? So whether that's, health-wise, staying in shape, trying to stay motivated in many different areas. And one of the things that I kind of thought about is the 90% rule. And what I mean by that, what I mean by that is I want to be at that top 90%, right? I want to be at that top 10% in all the aspects of my life that matter, whether it be exercise and fitness, whether it be under the I want to be in like the top 90% as far as being in shape and all those, like in top 90%.
Top 10% is where you
top
wanna be.
10% of when it comes to, productivity. Those are the things that I want to be. And so that's something I constantly look at. And it's not that hard, folks. Luckily, unfortunately, probably, we have a society that there's not a lot of standards, right? So it's actually, that is the bare minimum, is that 90% rule. I was looking at it the other day, like what was the top 10% average male bench press? And I think it was like 140 pounds. Or
I can
something
bench
like
press
Dear
that.
God.
It is so
There
low.
you go, Summer.
It is so low and it's so crazy. And then if you went across the whole world, it's even less. So,
was
the
it again?
90% rule. What's that?
140 pounds.
It's like 140 pounds.
You can bench 140 pounds, Chris. Come on.
Yeah, 2 plates.
No,
one plate
Two
each
plates
side.
is
I know, 2
130.
plates.
Two
Yeah,
plates
it's
is
like-
135.
It's like less than 0.5% that can bench 315. So,
Wow.
And you can do that.
I can do that multiple times. No
Yeah,
big
fuck
deal.
yeah, baby.
No big deal.
That's how we
Jesus,
do
Got
it.
my
Jay.
stud
There's
over
right.
here.
We got our one F in.
That's how we do
All
it.
right.
We get another one.
All right, Summer.
What-
Summer, you share something.
About
Productivity. I don't care anything.
productivity. So one of the best things that works for me for productivity is, I don't know the exact way to describe it. I've heard it described as blocking time. So instead of answering email over here and then going over here and shipping an order and then running upstairs and doing some laundry and then coming back and working on this, I block time where, okay, for the first half of the day, I'm going to work on catching up on shipping orders and anything to do with orders, whether it's ordering product, getting orders out the door, taking inventory. I block time. And then maybe for the second half of the day, I'm working on something completely different when it comes to the business, but it keeps my focus in one area and I get a lot more done that way. I can't jump around to different tasks and get things done efficiently and remember to come back to those things. So for me, blocking time, where it seems a little counterintuitive because maybe you're delaying answering a bunch of emails for several hours because you're working on a different block. But at the end of the day, you're going to have
You're less disconjointed.
Yeah, and you're going to actually
less
be more
fractured.
productive and get things done actually faster.
No, that makes sense.
So for me, blocking time really works out.
I'm way opposite of that.
Another one that I've implemented a lot this year that has helped me be much more productive, especially the areas that we don't like, right? The things that we don't like to do. One of the things I hate to do, folks, is sit back there and freaking edit videos. It is.
Are you pointing at me?
I'm pointing.
Yeah,
at the
you're sitting at the
computer
computer.
where I edit.
Your big ass head, Jay.
And,
Jeez.
and this could be working out. It could be doing anything that you need to do, that you hate to do, that you have to force yourself to do. So anytime that I'm like, you know what, I've had enough. I implement the 1% rule, and I'm doing 1% more.
I do
And a
that
lot
with-
of times,
I do that with workouts.
Don't you steal my shit? Don't you dare! This is my rule.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I implement your
Same
rule.
thing with I absolutely have done that with working out as well. Like I'm gonna do 1% more.
I'm gonna do one more rep.
And actually that turns out to be 5, 10, 15%.
Yeah.
And cumulatively, folks, that has such an impact of what you actually get accomplished that it turns out to be quite amazing.
I do that a lot in workouts, and I even have people coming to me and ask me, they're like when I used to go to a lot of the group workouts with the ladies, and we do like some CrossFit type stuff in some of the classes, and they're like, how do you it's like you turn into like a machine. And because I'm sitting there in the middle of a set and I'm telling myself, all right, you can make it to the end of this set. You can do 2 more reps. You can do this 1 more rotation. And that rotation, I tell myself, just do it 1 more rotation. And the next rotation, I tell myself, just do it 1 more rotation. And before you know it, you've done it way more than anybody else in the class. So it's just that 1 more. You just got to convince yourself to take that 1 more step. And I do that with a lot of things in my daily routine. Just do it 1 more thing and then you can rest. Just do 1 more thing and then you can take a break. And before you know it, you've done a lot more things.
I'm reading some of the comments up there.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around that time blocking. That would never work for me.
You have
It's
folks
weird-
says,
it's weird
I
how you
use
can use that,
music to
Summer.
get through
can't
shit
do
I don't like. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Whatever
absolutely.
it takes. Force yourself. And part of this is discipline, right?
I mean, that's great for workouts. You blast some music and next thing you
yeah.
know, you're like, heck yeah, I'm in beast mode over here.
And I got-
You got the
something
bluegrass
on that.
cranking, you just knock it out.
Absolutely.
And I got something on that to leave people for 2024.
Do
What's
it, Jay.
that?
So, and I don't know who said, I can't remember who said this. I should
Abraham
say,
Lincoln.
right? I can't remember who said this, but I read this somewhere,
Gandhi.
Going back to the discipline thing, right? Motivation is the false prophet, right? Motivation gets tired.
Yep.
Motivation gets hungry.
Exactly.
Motivation
This is
gets
a good one.
cold. Motivation gets weak. Discipline does not waver, right? You need to have self-discipline. I tell
Because you will
myself
lose
that
motivation.
every day. Yeah. I tell myself that every day that I don't want to go downstairs and work out or go to the gym and work out. I tell myself, I just don't want to do it. Motivation wavers, discipline does not.
That was Shayla Bow.
I'll tell you who said something amazing along those lines too. Very similar. It was Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson said, "Discipline is doing what you don't want to do, like you love it." And that's what it's about, man. Making sure that you're doing things at a high standard and doing the things that you don't want to do, and not cheaping out on it. Right?
Yeah.
Making sure that you are doing it with excellence, regardless of whether or not you want to do it. Because honestly, that is, folks, that's just the difference between success and failure in this world. In degrees of success and failure, is the people that are highly successful are really good at doing the tasks that they don't want to do.
Yes.
And another quote along those lines that I found pretty profound just recently was that aging is the pursuit of comfort, the aggressive pursuit of comfort. Gary Brecka, folks, if you guys aren't following Gary Brecka man, he has so much good information when it comes to health and wellness. I highly suggest you do. Man,
You just like him because his name is Gary.
that's true. You're not wrong. Yep.
Well, and this kind of plays
Get out of
in-
the comfort
This
zone.
kind of plays into one of my points I had written down as far as things that I do or try to live by that help me. And it's making one good choice at a time. Because if you start to think, oh, well, I got to plan out the whole week's meals to be successful in this diet, just make one good lunch. Okay. And then we'll worry about dinner in a couple of hours. Now, I'm not saying there's not value to pre-planning or prepping some meals or things like that. But if it's to the point where you're not going to make any good decisions, just make that one good decision and then worry about the rest later.
Yeah.
Use what mental capacity you have at the time.
Yep.
Do that one good thing and then put the rest for later. So
Absolutely.
that's one thing I try to do. And I think that's especially valuable and important for women and moms, where we have so many demands and so many people needing things from us, and just constant demands on our attention and our time all day. Is just make that one decision and make it a good one for now, and then worry about the rest later.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, Summer. You just talked about moms. I got a really good mom at my house.
Yep, you do.
You do.
She puts up with me, puts up with everybody.
Yep.
And then my quote I have is
I don't know how you landed her, Chris. I'm sorry.
I definitely outkicked my coverage on that one. But my quote is ADHD isn't a bad thing. It's just a different way of thinking. Because I don't know how you do the blocking out thing, Summer. I have to have a list.
Oh yeah, list help me
Like
greatly.
just like
I mean,
just
really-
like your list here, because I look
really-
at it and I go two.
Really,
That's what I like to do.
I mean, that is another form of blocking, right?
I guess so.
It
but
is.
yeah.
And that's one thing I utilize a lot is I write lists all the time.
love
And
lists.
here's one way it forces me to start doing things on the list is because I'm old school. I have a paper planner, days for each week, weekly list. And I'll get to a certain point where I've rewritten the list so many times week to week, things on the list. That I'm like, I'm tired of rewriting this crap. I'm tired of transferring it to the next week. We're going to jump in here. We're just going to get this crap done, So that's one thing that helps is actually writing it out. Whereas if it's on a phone or something, that it just does not motivate me the same.
I think one thing that I've really worked on this year that has really helped solidify my purpose and direction is making sure that we don't compare ourselves to others, right? And I mean that in a business sense as well. That's one thing I'm always looking, oh, this business is doing this and they're doing this. You got to stop comparing yourself to others. You got to do what you believe is right. Follow that. Keep your head down, and do not compare yourself to others. Don't compare yourself to others for success, failures, or anything else. Work on your stuff. Prioritize what's important to you, and go after it. And that's it.
Because I think we had a conversation similar to this earlier this year, and not to sound all wise and stuff. But I've made the point, well, yeah, you see this business over here doing this and you want to be doing that, but that business is not doing this that we're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, like there's things that you're comparing yourself to that you say we're not doing as good as that business. Well, we're blowing that business out of the water in this other area.
100%.
Well,
So
you know, like when it comes to that, I always say, like a lot of times I compare myself to other people, right? And then I think about it and I'm like, man, you know what? Someone is looking at me saying, if I can only be that,
yeah,
right?
Me.
especially
right?
in the gym,
Every day.
right?
Yeah. So like, so my thing is in the gym. I'm like, man, I want to get to where that guy's at,
As
right?
you're throwing 315 up for your reps, you know what I mean? You're
so,
like, I want to get there.
I want to get to where that guy's at, right? But somebody else is looking at me like, man, I just want to be where that guy's at, right?
Yeah.
So you need to look at yourself and how to progress yourself, not based
Well,
upon what other people are
I
doing.
think
And you need to prioritize, what's important to you and go after those things.
Correct.
and
Yes,
I think that also leads into another good point is you got to realize also where you've come from.
Yeah.
Like it's very easy to sit there and say, and I do this to myself all the time. The minute I don't work out, 2023 has been a year of a lot of changes in the business, and it's really affected my self-care and workouts and things like that. And I'm constantly saying, oh, well, a year ago I was here. Well, you know what? 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, after having a baby, I was way far away from where I am
Right.
now. And I would have loved to have been here. And now I just got to get back in the groove and get back to
that brings
there.
That brings me to my next one. Sean, if you will, go to the ATM and throw up photo 6 there.
Oh.
I think
This better not be a fat photo of me, Gary.
A10.
it's not.
A10.
You just hit that still. There you go.
Okay.
I thought this was pretty powerful. Noah got drunk. Jacob lied. Moses murdered. Rahab was a prostitute. David had an affair. Peter denied Jesus. God used all of these people. And we look at all these people as great successes. You can come back to me now. So, one of the things that I constantly do is all of my personal failures in many different aspects of my life and looking back at things that I've screwed up and I've done. Folks, you gotta forgive yourself, but more than that, you gotta look at your failures. Your failures do not disqualify you, but they are exactly what do qualify you for success in the future. Everybody likes a comeback story. Everybody, we can get into the religious aspect of redemption and how important that is, but you need to realize, because I'm sure many people are out there are just like me, where you sit in your head and you will criticize yourself over every conversation you had. I should have said this, should have done this differently. I literally sit in bed at night and think about conversations I had 10 years ago. I'm not even kidding. Like, I should have done this differently. I should have handled that differently. If you're not careful, you will focus so much on your personal failures and not realize that those failures were meant to be. Even going back to looking at where Peter denied Jesus before he died. When we think about that, folks, can you imagine? But that did so many things. Number one, that proved that Jesus's prediction, all right, and his prophecy that Peter would do that came true. That was an integral part of the gospel in general. Those are things that qualified that person and made that person more likable, more human than ever before. And you guys are the exact same way. I'm the exact same way. Folks, we have lots of failures, and all we need to do is do what we can to forget about those. But number one, understand and embrace those, that those are exactly what qualify us for our success in the future.
Well, and learn the lesson from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Learn the lesson from them. Absolutely.
Yeah, all your failures should be a learning point.
Absolutely. And don't dwell on, because that's one thing that I have always been bad about is, even every video that I release, folks, I'm telling you, getting in front of this camera every single time and self-critiquing myself and going over that is work for me. That is one of the hardest things. Anytime that we release a video, one of the hardest things, because it's not perfect. And I can get so focused on that and so focused, and you can do that in every aspect of your life. And trust me, I do. That it really does slow you down. It really does.
Yeah.
It's gonna prevent
Even
you
on the
from
video
success.
side, Gary will call me down. Take a look at this. Tell me I should reshoot this, shouldn't I? I shouldn't post this, should I? And I'm like, nobody sees what you're seeing.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Everybody
I mean, we all
sees-
know you're ugly, but
And I'm like, it's great.
You won't
Post
even get in
it.
front of a camera.
Well,
the
ain't nobody want to see
marginal-
that.
you're beautiful, baby. I love you.
The marginal improvement of taking 3 hours to reshoot is
Right.
not worth it.
It's
you
not
know?
worth it.
And that's
Correct.
just an example.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is.
When the lighting wasn't right on your hair, I would reshoot that.
What else you got, Ben?
One thing I wrote down, and I feel like I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but and
You should have blocked this off.
I should have blocked this off. I did, but it sounds so simple, and it's something that I have grossly failed at in 2023 is that it's easier to maintain than it is to restart. And specifically when it comes to working out or eating right, when we started to open the store earlier this year, we were working 16, 18-hour days at the store, renovating and getting it ready and all that. And prior to that, I mean, we used to work out 6 days a week, and then it kind of went to 5 days a week with the business and things like that. But consistently 4 or 5 days a week, we were working out, good workouts. And then when we started opening the store, like I just
Our attention got split in two
yeah,
different
I
places.
mean, I was so consumed, and by the time we got home, I was so exhausted, and then I just wanted to go to bed. So I really let my fitness and my self-care go by the wayside.
which ends up having a negative effect overall.
Oh,
everything
overall,
else, 100%.
my mental health was affected by
You gotta
it.
stop and sharpen the axe every
Yep.
now and then.
And,
instead of just whacking away.
I getting back in the gym now and seeing what I've lost in strength and fitness and just overall ability and comfort in movement, honestly, even in everyday activities. I'm just like, man, we just got to get back in it. But I'm at the point I'm at, and I can't dwell on it. I just got to move forward with
a
it.
slob, but I still love you.
Okay.
Just
One of the-
just
go ahead.
I just wanted to say, Jim Mopar's here. Hitting rock bottom's easy. Climbing up is the hardest.
Yes, it
right?
is.
That is
That is
100% truth. Right. That's a fantastic point there.
Yeah, throw Mike Henn's comment up there because that's a big shout out to Sean over there.
Blue and white's right too.
Michael Henn at the bottom, all the way at the bottom.
No, I think he's
No, at the
actually.
bottom.
No,
I'm talking about this one right here.
That's
This is
exactly
I'm
what he's talking about,
Click that, please. Let's hear it about the nods video. So big shout out to Sean back there. Sean shot that. We're gonna have him on some additional shorts. He has a real talent for that. He's been doing great with that. So big shout out to him for that. And we're gonna integrate him more into a lot of
Sean.
different production. So good job, Sean.
Hey, thank you.
One thing that is good advice to you, but it's something that I am going to, it's something I've been working on for a long time, but I'm going to put a hard stop to this in 2024, and that is stop complaining. Number one, folks, all the things that we complain about at the end of the day are so minor, so dumb. All of us, if you don't have someone, either you personally or someone in your family dying, you have good health, you have, a roof over your head, you got food in your belly. Folks, we have so much to be thankful for. And that's two things I would say. Number one, stop complaining, but also stay thankful. And every time that you're tempted to complain, think about all the things that you are grateful for and you have to be grateful for. Because complaining is such an insidious and destructive. And let me tell you something, folks. I love complaining. I love it. It's fun. We all love doing it. But it's a destructive force. It creates an environment that reduces productivity, reduces morale, and it makes everyone focus on the negative. And it's something that all of us should just get rid of. It's a cancer. Stop doing it. What else, Summer? Chris, Jason, anybody else
yeah.
out there? What else? We got some great comments up there. You guys look through those. Sean, at your convenience, you throw up anything worth seeing up there.
Well, I mean, as less like going off your point that you just make, right? As much as I don't want to quote a seal, right? But Jocko Wilkin,
Jocko.
right? Yeah, Jocko. Sorry,
Willink,
right?
yeah.
I've been
Jocko
drinking,
Wilson.
right? Yeah,
Oh, Jackson Wilson.
yeah.
That
Right?
guy.
Just going off your
So-
last point, he had said something, just say good, right? If something goes bad, right? say good, and you learn from it. So like, hey, today I didn't make it to work on time today. Good. What was the problem there? And you learn from it, right? His thing is always say good, right? No matter if it's good or bad, right? Always say good and look at the learning points from it.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you got?
I'm skipping down here
One thing
with the next box down.
I will tell you is, folks, stop being risk averse. Right? You got one life to live. You got
That's where
one
I'm at right
chance.
now.
I got one love.
Seriously, make your life your own. Right? Don't get settled in mediocrity. Don't get comfortable with displeasure, and just accepting your reality. If there's a career, I don't care how old you are. I don't care how close to retirement you are, or whatever it is. Whatever you got going on, a new hobby you want to start, folks, go do it. Go do it. Yeah, you're going to take a risk, but I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it. And you know what? If it ends up being a mistake, I promise you, every person here on this feed is smart enough, is capable enough to climb back to the top. But get out there, get after it. Don't be afraid to take a risk.
That's it. I'm booking tickets to the beach tomorrow.
No, I'm taking a risk here in the coming new year.
Good. Great.
Me and two of my buddies actually are going to start a little side hack company.
I love it. I love it.
Something that'll be up and coming. I might plug it on here. You never know. We're
Hey,
gonna.
we'll support you in any way that we can.
It's
buddy.
actually something cool. It's not around here yet.
Yep.
So it actually would be kind of cool.
That's awesome, dude. Yep.
It's not around here. It's out in the Midwest, but it's not over on the East Coast high yet. So we'll see what happens with it.
I don't know. Okay. You gotta fill me in.
Oh, I'll fill you.
Now I'm curious. Kind of same thing with that, folks. Stop thinking small. Think big. Set big goals. You every one of us are more capable than we believe we are. Here's a big one, and I've done a lot better with this year. Is get rid of anything that distracts you, slows you down, or doesn't make you better. Little things add up a lot.
What are, if you don't mind sharing, and if you do,
Sure.
what are some of the little things that you feel like you got rid of that?
I'll
were
tell you. I'll
distractions
tell you
for
right
you?
now, like drinking for me. I'm not speaking for everybody, but for me, drinking. And I didn't drink a lot, didn't drink super often or anything else, but it was enough to where it's like, oh, I'm looking forward to going to hang out with my buddy. And I'm not saying diminish your social life or anything like that. I'm saying for me, I haven't drank anything since probably February or so. And I will tell you, it is something that has made a huge, the little time you lose from that. Just spending money on that or doing those things, just for me personally, the waking up the next day, not being productive because you feel like crap. For me, that's one of those things. Whatever that is for you. But get rid of those things. The other thing I would say is, basically anything that you don't feel like has a positive impact or influence on you. I will also say this includes people. If you are hanging around people that are a positive influence, or you don't have a positive influence on them, create distance, right?
Well, there's a fine line there too, because
there is.
you can be trying to be a positive influence on someone, and then they end up being a not so positive influence on you.
You need to self-assess that.
Yeah, you have to be discerning on that.
Absolutely. The reality is that not everyone is meant to be part of your tribe.
Am I part of your tribe?
I think it's
Still an assessment.
by default.
Still an assessment period. We'll see how you turn out. But yeah, folks, align yourself with those people that are headed in the same direction as you. And if they're not, it doesn't mean
Or the direction you want to head.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not headed in that
Yeah.
direction yet, but you want to be headed in that direction. Align yourself with those people. And
or maybe it's just time for you to stop hanging out with everybody for a while and get your crap together so that you can develop some focus, so that you figure out where you want to go and how you want to get there.
my parents
That may be
always
one of those
said
things,
growing
too.
up, you are who you hang out with. And it's so true.
It is true.
And I hated them when I didn't hate them. I hated when they said that, because it was like, oh, whatever. They're just people at school, but you are who you hang out with.
For a lot of people out there, it might be social media. Maybe it's time to cut down on social media, or just time to do a cold turkey on social media, or anything that is distracting you and not adding, value to your life. And I'm not talking about just pleasure and entertainment. Entertainment and pleasure are not necessarily value, right? There's a lot of things that you can figure out to do that do add productivity, that add value to your life, that can be pleasurable. Maybe it's time to replace those things.
Well, I mean, going off of that, right? McSpook here is a minimalist, right? Stock focus on stuff on experiences. No one will remember the cool things you own, but they will remember that time you helped them heal.
100%.
Right? So going on that, right? Again, like just think about this, right? Who won the biggest lottery in the United States? Could you name them?
No.
No, it's not me.
Yeah, I know it's not me either, right? But no, you couldn't name them right now, right? But again, right? Those people in your life that have helped you along the way, you will remember them because of things they have done.
Well, this plays
Right?
right into something I saved because I would like to read it if we have the time. A short little story that I saw earlier today and really spoke to me. Kind of plays right into what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But so several years ago, I invited a Buddhist monk to speak to my senior elective class, and quite interestingly, as he entered the room, he didn't say a word. That, of course, caught everyone's attention. He just walked to the board and wrote this: "Everyone wants to save the world, but no one wants to help mom do the dishes." Everyone laughed. But then he went on to say this to my students: "Statistically, it's highly unlikely that any of you will ever have the opportunity to run into a burning orphanage and rescue an infant. But in the smallest gesture of kindness, a warm smile, holding the door for the person behind you, shoveling the driveway of the elderly person next door, you have committed an act of immeasurable profundity. I can't say that word. Because to each of us, our life is our universe." So those little small acts, whether you're helping someone with a task or you're just reaching out to them to talk to them in a time of need, you are saving the universe.
Is there a alternate
So washing the dishes.
washing dishes?
No, that was great. Yeah, no. I thought it was fantastic.
No, it is. I guess one of those things, something that I have really learned over the last few years too, is realizing those people that are important to you and making sure that you do pay more attention to them, and maybe cutting out some of those strap hangers that shouldn't be in your life gives you the ability to pay more attention to your family, to your friends, the people that you really do love and you really do care for, and you can work on building those relationships deeper and also figuring out ways that you can help them. I think that's just as important is taking care of the people in your life as it is cutting people out of your life that aren't having a positive aspect on you or impact on you.
Sure. Blue Line Wife, I put this up there earlier. Live life like tomorrow is your last day. Chris and I recently had a neighbor that went out just for a daily chore.
No, well,
Right? Yeah,
his wife asked for something from the grocery store.
well, sure.
You know what I mean? So
just went
daily
out
chore,
for
yeah.
Just went out to go get something from the grocery store, and on his way back home, he died in a terrible car accident. Right?
Wow.
Poor him. Right? Poor his family.
On Christmas Eve.
Right on Christmas Eve. Yeah, it was a terrible time for them.
Year old or a year and a half old, and one on the way, and
Yep.
yeah, just a menial task.
Just a menial task, right? So live life like tomorrow is your last day, because we honestly never know when it's coming for yourself. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it
Absolutely.
was crazy. He lived in our development.
Yep.
And shoot, what? 2 nights before he was on. He did the Christmas
we were
parade.
hanging out the day before Christmas.
Yeah,
Eve,
did the Christmas parade.
Yeah,
and
the
we
Christmas
all got our
parade.
side by side out, put lights on, rode around the neighborhood. He was
Yep.
there. He was there for that. And then the next day,
Gone.
But you never know.
the same time.
You never know, especially for those first responders. Blue Line Wife,
Yep.
especially
Yeah,
for them.
absolutely.
Yeah. McSpook says, change the people around you or change the people around you. Yeah.
That's good. Look
Uh,
at Jeff with all his knowledge.
Jeff is so wise.
And thinking about that too, Jay, what you said, what you said on your thing about that's interesting. But then going to the McSpooks things is it seems how our group of people that we hung out with on the regular basis, like what was there 8 or 9 of us dudes that play golf, drink some beers, sit in my driveway on a Friday afternoon at 2 to whenever. Yeah, I think we are all very well like-minded and want well for, I don't know, just the people in general. You know what I mean? And our group's not that big. It's
No.
kind of small, but it's actually really big when you talk to other people out in the public. Like, holy crap, I see you posting your pictures and all your all's buddies are all hanging out together and stuff. That's really awesome. You do that. We only have like 2 good friends that'll do that with us. I think that's interesting of our group.
Yeah,
You don't see that out. I mean, you've seen them.
Yeah.
You came over to dads and stuff. It's weird how that big of a group is together and shares the same values on life and religion and just anything and everything.
Well, I think it's
That's
again,
fallen up to the wayside anymore.
It is, and I
Well,
think
because
that's another
social media.
aspect of. I think that's another aspect of
Summer, I agree with
realizing
you on that.
how fortunate we really are. Right? That's
Yeah.
another, it's one of those things that the people around us, our clients, man, like we literally have the best clients in the world.
God, yes.
I mean, honestly,
We do have a lot. Yeah.
There was a guy I was talking to, actually, I don't know if Mark's on here or not, but I was actually on the phone with him about 2.5 hours ago. One of our great clients was calling up and he was talking about, there's some people you can't please. And I'm like, man, there are people out there that like that, but I'll tell you, out of like literally the 10,000 interactions that we've had with clients, there may have been like 2 that I can,
I was gonna say count on one hand.
yeah, like we are so fortunate with the people that we attract.
And
Now-
that goes back to there's some people you just got to cut loose that aren't for you.
Yep, absolutely.
You know?
Yep. And
There are some people that are not for me, and if they're not for me, then they're missing out, and that's their fault.
all right.
And just going back on that, like Chris and I, right, and Gary, you're part of our community as
absolutely.
well, right? Like you guys come out and everything. While we're like-minded, right, it's great to introduce people that aren't like-minded, right? And it's good conversations that we have. It's really good, right?
Makes you
it's a
think.
good
Makes you
community
think
we built.
conversations too.
Right,
You know what I mean?
exactly, right? It's very good community.
Throw up Blue Line Wife's
Yeah.
comment. It's a very important one that people need to realize. And
And
I
this
think
goes
most
back-
people in this group are smart enough to realize that one thing about social media, people post a lot of shit to make their lives look perfect, when in reality, it's normally the
Oh,
exact
that's
opposite.
fantastic.
And this
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you're
That
posting the
goes
best
back to-
things
Yeah.
about your life, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you sit there and compare yourself to what you see on social media.
Right.
Well, that's the highlight reel of their life.
Yep.
Right.
You know, there's some people that'll post all the drama and craziness in their life.
Oh,
but
there's
that's
many
not-
people that's all they post.
Well, but
They want the
I'm
woe
just
is me
saying-
posts.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
and that
true.
goes back to the not comparing yourself thing.
Right.
You never know what's
Yeah.
really going on.
A lot of times it's some
What
crazy
what
stuff.
you see on the outside, you have no idea what's going on the inside, and that goes
True.
with business, people, or anything else, right?
And then
So-
that feeds right into being kind because, I had an interaction the week before Christmas and, a client didn't receive his package. USPS actually misdelivered it. And he called me up yelling at me. And I was like, look, you're not going to talk to me this way. I sent the package as I was supposed to. I will help you figure this problem out, but you're not going to speak to me this way. And he calmed down. We figured the problem out. And he actually sent me a long email apologizing and telling me, he had been going through some things. And, his interaction was totally out of character behavior and apologized about 15 times. But you just
Right, you
never
never
know.
know.
So me handling the situation the way I did, and I don't always handle the situations that way, but like, look, cut the crap. Let's figure this out and we'll move on together.
Mm-hmm.
So the conversation she has with me quite often
Cut the crap.
doesn't always include that last part, though. All right. So the other thing I want to share with you guys are some really big accomplishments that we had here at Paramount this year. One of the huge things that to me really is almost kind of like a lifelong dream is, number one, I no longer work for the U.S. government. We've been doing full time with Paramount now since February?
Yes. So I remember, just jump in there real quick. I remember when we were dating, you were still in the Army. We were broke as a joke.
I was there.
You were there, Jason. And I distinctly remember you telling me one time, one day I want to own my own training company and have my own range. And here we are.
We don't have our own range yet.
We don't have our own range yet.
but
I'm not even sure we want to
honestly,
do
I'm
that.
not sure that I
Yeah.
want.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Now with insurance and
With all the-
you know what?
All the
But-
hassles.
Nah.
Yeah, that was a big step. Number one. The other thing too is even one of the things I said back earlier, stop being so risk averse is, I had this government job, or I was basically a government contractor, but I was working in both jobs that I had, I was basically secure, right? No matter what. Those were considered critical positions that just weren't going away. So it's easy to get comfortable in that mediocrity, and that's where I was. But then it got to a point where I know what I'm doing is wrong. I am trading comfort for excellence, or whatever you want to call it, right? I am getting comfortable here. And anyways, it was a big leap for us, folks. I literally thought, I was like, you know what? I thought it was more likely that 2 months down the road that it would be a failure. Those are, if you look at it logically, there's almost no way for that to happen. But at the same time, it's you never know what the economy is going to do. You never know what in the business that we're in, the ATF regulations. At the same time, we had all these, different things happening to us from a business perspective.
And essentially, we're at the mercy of
us.
what a lot of people consider discretionary income too.
Yeah.
So that's a scary part.
Yep. Anyways, it worked out.
It's worked out.
It's continued to work
Thanks
out.
for the support of you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
One of the other big things, Summer, you covered that.
We opened up the first Paramount Tactical physical brick and mortar retail location.
Yeah.
And that's been pretty, it's had a lot of pros in a lot of ways that have fed right into, maybe some of the brands that we can carry, or getting to meet you guys in person when you guys come out and pick up orders, or just come out to say hi. I know Blue Line Wife and Bravo 4 Solutions came out this past week and, just checked out the store right before Christmas, and it was cool to meet them. So opening up the store, while it's been a lot of work, it's my new home away from home,
and it's a quality spot. You know what I mean?
It is.
You're not in a strip mall somewhere.
No, I mean, we
far
have.
away. You're right there.
And this goes back to in our business. God has blessed us in so many ways, whether it be the people He's put in our path. I mean, Dan, for one, our web guy. I truly believe that God put him in our path. And a lot of you, the same thing. Yeah,
Jason,
Jason, Sean. There's a lot of you that God has put in our path
absolutely
to use you as a blessing to Gary and I. And, the store was the same way. It was something that came about,
out of the blue.
came to us.
Yeah.
It came to us. So
Out of
I
the
know
blue.
it was a blessing from God, and it's been great so far.
Yep. From 2022, we don't have all the full numbers in there, but we're at least 150% increase plus.
Sheesh.
Increase in sales from 2022 to 2023. So 2023 was by far our biggest year. And again, it's because of you guys. It really is. Because of you guys and all of Summer's hard work. Those are
Somebody said I was the chief of the tribe.
you are the chief.
Oh,
of the tribe.
absolutely.
Chief Summer.
Whatever.
We know who
whatever
the
it
boss
is.
He's definitely not a squall. He's definitely the chief.
Another big accomplishment is we did hit 40,000 plus YouTube subscribers. We're well on our way to 50,000.
Wow, look at that.
But it's more than that. One of the things that it comes down to with that, and this is one of the things that I still find absolutely remarkable. We are reaching on average somewhere around 170 to 180,000 views per month. People are sitting there watching us for over 22,500 hours.
Ooh, that's a lot of time to watch you, Gary.
We're averaging 2,500 to 3,000 new subscribers per month. So, that is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
And that's just on YouTube. That's not how any of the other
I
channels.
think Gary
have grown.
needs to do a dance video, is what I think, to get more subscribers.
We should. I should. I don't want to blow up that big, Jason. I don't want to reach 1 million for no reason.
$1 million for no reason. Maybe they'd actually monetize your videos if they were dance videos.
Do you love
me? Do some Gangnam style.
If I did some really inappropriate dance videos, I would reach the top of the YouTube.
Oh my God, Jackson's
algorithm.
gonna be so embarrassed if I tell this story. But this past week during Christmas break, he's like, "Look, mommy, I learned how to do the Gundam style dance," and he's doing it in the kitchen. I'm like, "That's great, son. I think you're about 4 years too late."
Is it only 4?
Hey,
Something
Mom,
like that.
have you seen the Twist and Shout?
You seen the mashed
I don't
potato?
know. Maybe there's a resurrection of the Gundam style dance, and he's on top
everything
of
goes
it.
I mean, the mom jeans are coming back, so the pull up high rise, so maybe everything's
Along
That's
those
been back, Chris.
I'm
Along
saying.
those lines,
Shouldn't
folks,
have.
some brands that we've added just this year is Area 419, Night Force, Loophole, Zico, Zero Compromise, Zeiss, Gray Ops, Fat Boy, Microtech. We became a Glock stocking dealer, direct dealer for Glock.
R.I.P. Gaston.
That means Blue Label, folks. Blue,
Blue
Label.
Label.
Blue Label is coming.
Blue Label.
Hawk Hill Customs, Cross Stack, Off Grid Faraday bags. We don't have those on the website, but those are coming. There are some excellent Faraday bags if you're interested in those, and you should be. Check those out. We became a direct dealer for Garmin, Trigger Cam, G Code, Savior Equipment, Neomag, Long Shot Precision, Protector Model, and Precision Armament.
There's
So
probably some we're forgetting, but
I guarantee you there's a few that we're
you know,
forgetting.
and when we were compiling this list earlier, I was just thinking to myself, like, it makes me proud that
Me?
yeah, you make me proud, but
Aw.
it makes me proud that we have quality offerings.
100%.
You know, this is not a list of
If
fluff.
you want Uncle Mike's holsters and stuff like that,
There's places
Uncle
closed.
Mike's. All
Paramount
Uncle Mike's.
Tactical. Paramount Tactical is not the place to
And
get
that's
that.
not a derogatory thing.
not.
We're saying there's a quality. We want to sell what we would actually use ourselves.
Yeah,
That's what it goes back
Wouldn't
to.
use Uncle Mike's.
I wouldn't use Uncle Mike's. I would give that to a terrorist.
Guess I'll take mine off.
So shoot himself.
Need to upgrade.
Courses we added this year. We added a high performance driving course, off-road driving course, a bunch of different services we've added this year, including MVG sales.
True that.
We have a lot of goals for PTS, both professional and personal. We'll talk a little bit about those, but our goals for 2024 is at a minimum, I'm going to say hire 4 people. We need right now. We are at a bottleneck, and folks, we are at a loss for how to get people to work because
If
we're
there's
offering.
anybody out there like me, please come see me.
We're
Somewhere
offering,
there is nobody like
Hey,
you.
sorry,
I was gonna say, I was like, I don't think there's a comparison.
we are offering a significant amount of money to basically come run the cash register at our store. Do some
No,
basic
I need more
shipping.
than that.
I
Let's
know,
just
I
let's
know.
just set the
But
standard there.
But do some shipping, manage some stock. I mean, it's easy stuff, and it's been. I've been shocked. That is a problem that I didn't expect us to have, but it's been a problem, and it really is. We're at a bottleneck. I think if we had 2 or 3 more people, we could be doubling our revenue as it is. One of my big goals this year is definitely do at a minimum. This is probably we need to reassess this about halfway through, but 1.5 million in store sales for 2024. In store sales, it has nothing to do with the website, but I think that's an easy thing for us to do.
An achievable goal.
And we haven't advertised a store or anything because really we don't even we can barely man the store, to be honest with you.
It's me there all the time.
Yeah, and we're really so overwhelmed, or at least completely maxed out on just the internet sales. So it will be nice once we get a few people in there. We can start really advertising the store location to our local. You know, of course, we talked to you guys about the store, but we're not doing anything local to advertise the store.
Yeah.
And we're still getting plenty of clients and customers coming in. We really appreciate that. But we could be getting 10 times the customers.
The
if
word's
we-
getting out.
It is.
I mean, like before Christmas, we had quite the uptick in foot traffic, and some of it was just people coming in to look around, which is fun, but people coming in to shop, and I was actually
no,
it's
been awesome.
Yeah,
I don't even like Jason Sponsler, but he said it worked for store credit.
Hey, you come down, Jason.
I don't know if we can pay for your ticket to come out, but
Oh, we can.
Yeah.
We
You
can.
have to give him a bunk here in the basement.
As a lifetime voter. I'm sorry,
What?
Brent. I missed your comment earlier. I'm sure that I'm lacking relevance now.
I think
yeah.
there's some of this is chat between the
Yeah.
the-
Between,
Yeah,
between peeps.
Chats between the chats.
Yeah.
It's all Chat GPT over here. Don't you worry about that.
Yep.
Yeah,
We got it.
These
We're
are
on
actually
it.
we actually have 0 viewers right now. These are all AI bots. So I'm just fine with. I love you, AI. You're gonna be around the world. So remember, Gary, he likes you. Yeah. So the other thing that we are already looking to do, we got a lot of cool things in the work with Zeiss. I can tell you, Zeiss has been really great to us, right?
They have.
They are. Anyways, we got some great things in the works with Zeiss, but we're going to be expanding the XP Academy courses. We are filling those courses now, the long range level 1 and level 2. One of the things we're definitely going to get on the books for 2024 is a DDM course. Ray and I were just talking about that today. We want to establish those training objectives and get that set up out at Pig River. We're going to do a lot of things with XP Academy. I'm really excited about the future of that whole portion of the business. And it's been a lot of fun working with Ray. He's been a godsend too. You know, it is really cool to
he's
have
another
someone
person that came in our path too.
Yeah. You know, it's really been great to have someone that we have a lot in common. And you know, whether it's dumb stuff about talking about YouTube or whatever else, it's been cool to have him around, and we talk pretty almost daily, either texting or talking. It's been a good time.
And if you're lucky enough, I may be an instructor out there, depending on what course it is.
Jay,
Yeah, he might bring us
the
30-06.
the other exciting thing
Show you what's up.
the other exciting thing is Jay is quitting his job. He's coming to work for us full time.
Gary
Brianna,
wishes
Let me-
that would
let me
happen.
I do wish that would happen.
Let me text Brianna.
I
Gary
do wish
wishes
that-
that would happen.
We're going to get there where we can more than exceed your current income and entice you on over. All right. So that's what other professional goals do we have this year?
I think a lot of my stuff that I've written down is personal because I'm selfish.
You are selfish.
I know.
We're gonna make some awesome shorts this
Oh, shorts.
I'm waiting.
Shorts.
If Summer lived in the
I
ocean,
want. If
she'd
you're
be
gonna
a
make some, I
selfish.
need some American flag ones for me, please.
America.
Short. Not
No,
really.
he
he's
means
making
like
shorts.
YouTube
Videos.
shorts, like
Like
videos,
shorts
short
and videos.
videos. Chris thought you meant like physical
No, I'm
shorts.
just messing.
Like,
I just wanted to see what
he
everybody was
wanted some
thinking.
American flag cutoff ones over here with Paramount.
I know why Sean's here. I've seen him and critiqued his shorts that he's made.
Oh, damn it. I wish you would have said yes. That would have made my night.
Oh.
We get some Paramount Tactical Ranger panties up in here.
We know it's true. I know it's true.
I don't know.
My
I
face
can't.
would be much redder if I was like, "Oh yeah, he meant video short."
You never get embarrassed,
Meant
Chris.
video short.
Yeah, I've never seen you embarrassed, Chris.
I would have
I've
cried
been
back here.
embarrassed.
That'd have been awesome.
All right. As far as some personal goals for me this year is number one. You know what? I'm gonna work on better reestablishing a relationship with God and live my faith and be better example for my family and friends. Look, I have always been a Christian. I have not always lived that way, and that's something that I definitely want to work on. And I think I would definitely highly advise everybody out there too. You know, again, this life is short, and I think most of us, it's easy to get into this weird thing where you can be a believer and
Not live it.
not live your faith. And I want to do a much better job. That's hard, right? Like, you know, the other part of that, and I think that's something that I struggle with is an identity thing, right? You know, I am what I know I'm not going to be, you know, is it's hard to integrate that into your life a lot of times, right? I'm this knuckle dragging, you know, idiot that runs around and spent most of my life.
I concur.
Spent most of my life figuring out the best way to kill people. And it's tough. It's tough to figure out what that identity is as a Christian and how to be your true self, but also integrate Christ in your life. And I don't know that there's a good answer for that. And I'm not
But
asking.
I think you can be both. I mean,
You definitely
you can be a warrior and still be living for God.
Absolutely you can.
And God
You just gotta
uses
figure out
those
what that
warriors.
looks like.
Yeah.
And I don't know, to be honest with you. If I had to figure that out a long time ago, I'd probably be in a better spot. But I think that's important for everybody.
It's similar to this, and that's one of the things I wrote down as well, is to work on relationship with God. Number one, it makes so many things about your life better. It makes our relationship better. It makes me a better person. But and this is something that ties back into what we were talking about earlier, where, you know, there's all these things going on in the world, and AI is going to take over, and the one world government, and focusing back on the relationship with God gives you hope through that.
Yeah,
It gives you
centers you.
it centers you. It gives you hope that there's something after that is not the end of all. And honestly, for me, it helps relieve anxiety for daily life and future things that I think about. So I think it's important to focus on that relationship with God to maintain hope as well.
I agree with that. I'm definitely going to prioritize health and wellness. folks, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. Definitely getting tighter on the diet, being more disciplined about making sure exercising regularly. Not only for because again, that's one of the things that if I am not feeling good about my physical fitness, it affects everything that I do. And the other thing too, it's really important for us to be good examples to our kids as well, whether it's eating healthy, having discipline in that, making sure you get out there and move a little bit.
It's so funny. I was talking with Noah. Noah and I went over to the gym and did a quick workout together today. And then Gary and Jackson went together and did a quick workout. That way somebody could be at the store all the time. But Noah and I were walking back over from the gym, and I was talking to him about, we had a good workout and, how I really got to get back into things after letting things slide with opening the store and kind of start fresh in 2024. And he's like, Mommy, look, I was like, it's kind of easier to maintain, right, buddy, than to restart. He's like, look, all you got to do is just do a really good workout for 30 minutes each time. It doesn't take much time, Mommy. And I'm like, you and your 9-year-old wisdom over here, just telling me what to do. But he's so smart. He's like, just do the 30 minutes a day and you're going to maintain, Mommy. And I'm like, okay, I got it.
One thing that I definitely need to work on is doing a better job letting the people that I do that are in my life that matter to me know that they matter, whether it be friends, families, even clients. I'm very careful about expressing that right. I'm not going to tell everybody, "Oh, I love you," right? That's just not that's
And
not
it's
me.
not appropriate in all
Not
ways
a-
either.
not- but the reality is,
I love you.
I love
Gary.
you too, buddy. There are people in your life that need to hear that. And,
Yes.
And you probably don't realize that. Even clients and stuff that matter a lot to us, not because, they feed us money and buy all kinds of stuff. That has been one of the coolest things for us is that there are clients that you have personal connections with. And this goes back to the tribe thing, right? I think one of the things that I've always done throughout my life is we're always looking for those people that are part of a tribe. And it's easy once you're in the military where obviously there's divisions within that too. Like even within, I don't care if you're on ODA or you're in a platoon, but you find a lot of like-minded people that you really connect with. And when you get out of the military, or if you've never been in the military, that's much tougher. So, make sure that people that matter to you, make sure you let them know. Clients that matter to you, make sure you let them know. Whatever that is, because they probably need to hear it more than you think. And, I hope the people that surround me, whether it's Chris, Jason, Sean, even though, Sean's new, he's still in the selection
still in the
process.
trial
He's, he's all right.
He's a selection
I mean,
process.
he's pretty
But,
good back here. I'm going to tell you.
there's people that matter very much to me. And I'm going to do a better job of making sure they know that.
And even I just enjoy the interactions with some of those clients.
Sure.
And definitely maintaining a professional and appropriate
Sure.
relationship.
Yep.
Especially, as a woman in a male dominated arena. But and I always think, how would I want Gary to handle a situation? That's how I would want to handle it. But
Sure.
I enjoy the interaction. Sometimes I'll talk on the phone with a client. It's just such a pleasant interaction. And I get off the phone smiling because they were just kind and they were nice and they were reasonable. And then, I don't know, it makes your day better.
Yep. Absolutely. Jay, what do you got? You got any goals for 2024?
Well,
Chris,
I believe
Sean?
I said all of my quotes that I wanted to say, right? Right.
He read his list of
I didn't know
quotes.
we were going to put
Jay?
this on here right now, but again, I just want to reiterate, hey, motivation, right, is the false prophet, and discipline is what you need in your life.
That's a really great point.
Right? I want to say that. Remember, right, that you are a Ferrari, right? Whether you need to go into the shop for a tune-up or not, right? Just like myself, right? You're still a Ferrari, right? and you can keep on going.
I'm a Lambo
Even if
over
you're
here.
a mini Ferrari.
You're a mini Ferrari. Yeah.
No, it's just lower. It's
I
got
didn't know
lowering
they made-
springs on it.
I didn't know they
Got lowering
made.
springs.
I didn't know they made Ferraris that were 3 feet tall.
Lowering
Poor
springs.
Jason.
I love.
He handles better.
I
That's
can only
why.
imagine
He's-
the image that most people that have never met Jason have in their head of Jason.
So
Like this short little
four
man.
foot
funny?
10,
Well,
that's okay.
185, and ripped.
That's
Hey,
okay
Jay.
because they have
You know
this
what's funny?
expectation and they're going to be pleasantly
like,
surprised
well,
when they
God,
meet him.
You know what's
Jay,
funny
they're
is
so
that
tall.
Full head of hair,
So-
full beard.
So you know what? Yeah, right. Yeah, full head of hair, right? But anyway, you know
Love you,
what's
Bubba.
funny is that we've gone out to the range a few times, and we've met clients that have only heard my voice. And I've been an instructor out in some of the courses, and some of the clients have been like, "Oh my God, you're Jason." And I said,
Don't
"Yeah,
say
hey,
you're
how's
not
it
that
going,
short.
right?"
Don't
Yeah.
say it.
No, I'm
I've
100%.
actually,
They were like,
I've actually
"Wow,
heard people
you're a
say
lot
that.
taller than I thought you were going
100%.
to be." Like,
100%.
I don't know.
So
what
they see you.
people
They see
envision.
that you're 5'4", and they're like,
I'm
"Oh, hey."
normal height compared to most
Whoa.
They're
Not
normal.
normal.
Normal
height.
height compared to most
Below
people.
average normal height.
people. I would say average.
Don't compare yourself to others.
You're the
Jay.
same height as my. You're the same height as my wife, Jay.
Listen,
Actually,
Very
Robin's
Puerto
taller
Rican,
than you.
we are a small people. We're
But
not
you,
tall,
but
We
you
are
are
small
proud.
people.
We
But
are
they're
small people,
but
not
proud.
tall.
But proud.
but proud.
Oh,
man.
Lord, he's the Puerto Rican elf. back
Happy
there.
2024.
Puerto Rican elf.
He is the giant midget.
Normal height in Thailand. Are people in Thailand short?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There
yes.
you go. You'll fit right in, Jason.
I mean, so
Throw up Savage Gentleman's comment there. That's a good one. Actually, leaders and men more specifically should tell people they love them more often. If we truly look at why we would be willing to sacrifice the things for someone, it is love. Absolutely. And we don't always, I know I don't, my love language is clearly not my wife's. My love language is giving you crap, right? And picking on you and talking smack to you. It doesn't resonate with her for some reason. I don't know why.
Do you know what my love language is?
Affirming
Acts of service.
acts of service
and affirmative words.
and affirmative words.
Oh.
Which I am very good at. Both.
Bring me breakfast and tell me I'm pretty. Yeah.
Another good advice is to figure out your wife's love language.
There you go.
I don't ever remember. Gary, you have to look up and listen to Simon Sinek on leadership. Throw that up there, Savage Gentleman again.
It's Savage,
Leadership
I
and
think.
love. He explains on love and vulnerability. Nails it. Giving someone the power to hurt you and trust that they won't use it. Absolutely. I think that, everything that we do, I've heard of someone used to tell me, everything that a person does is based out of either fear or love. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. So, most of the things that we do, the things we put up with, and we don't always express that in the way that we should. And we just need to all get better at that. What else?
Jeff said
Pink-
pink cups is her love language.
It is. Pink cups.
Yeah.
She does enjoy a pink cup. What other words of wisdom anybody has for 2024? Anything else? Jay back there.
Sean.
no, I am spent, sir.
He said he used up all his
Chris?
quotes already.
I'm just gonna be more patient.
More patient. That's what you're going to work on this year?
Patience.
Patience. Jay, is there anything you're going to work on this year? Trying to be so awesome.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna put, why do you keep putting me on the spot?
I'm
I'm
I'm trying to include you. I asked Chris.
You need God mode turned back on.
Again, I need to wake up and I need to tell myself, like, hey, when I'm tired, when I'm sleepy, when I'm hungry, right? Like, hey, motivation is not what I need. It's discipline is what I
That's
need.
one of the things I wrote down in my points is,
Yeah.
is as my tips to productivity is I get an early start to the morning and it took some sleep training.
Yeah.
But now I wake up at like 5:30 and I need that little bit of quiet time to collect myself and it really helps my day start out better.
Yep. That's what I tell myself every day. When I'm tired, discipline is what I need.
just
And
can't-
it has worked for me so far.
When
Yep.
you need to discipline, you come see me.
I don't want all these red beards in my face.
No doubt.
Sean, any good advice for 2024?
Advice?
Yeah.
No.
He
I
said
guess,
no.
I guess for me, when it comes to what I'm going to improve on is I want to make sure that I maintain and improve the mindset that I've always had when it comes to what I do for a living, and understanding the fact that I don't know everything that there is to know when it comes to how I provide what I do for the public.
Sean, do you want to share
And
Profession.
your profession?
oh yeah, so I'm a greeter at Walmart.
He is, and he is amazing.
No, so it depends on what day of the week it is, but however, my full-time job is I'm a firefighter and advanced life support provider.
Yeah. So he's a fighter and EMT. What would be the type?
Advanced life
Yeah, so
supporter, though.
I'm an advanced. So there's different levels when it comes to
Yeah.
EMS. You have emergency medical responder, and then you have EMT. Those are your two basic. They're called basic life support providers. I'm what's called an advanced life support provider because you have advanced EMT and then your EMT paramedic.
Okay.
Paramedic, they specialize in cardiology. Advances, we specialize in shock and trauma.
Gotcha.
So that is why, my other job that I do as an instructor is for TECC and TCCC. That's why I do it is
baby.
because, that's shock and trauma, and that's what I specialize in.
Awesome.
So I always make it a goal to, I know that the science in my profession changes on average every 5 years. That's just the fire science side. The medical side is nonstop. So I am constantly going to conferences up and down the East Coast. I'm always, watching the latest and greatest studies coming out and reading them. I'm very picky about the YouTube influencers that I pick. Paramount Tactical is pretty good. And then
They said pretty good.
Uh-huh.
Who is this guy?
Chris
Didn't say elite. Hey, I was just
Oh,
agreeing with you.
jeez.
That's who's your web
I
guy
see
now.
where your loyalties lie, Chris. Noted.
I don't know crap about anything in life support.
Yeah, Chris, we got to get you to a med course, bud.
Yeah, pull a trigger first.
Yeah, you got kids and wife at home.
You got to get. We're putting you in a med course.
I got
throw
a
up,
belt for a tourniquet.
Throw up Colin. I'll punch you in the face. Colin hits. All right. When faced with a decision to be made, the worst thing you can do is ignore it and make no decision. Make a decision. If it's the wrong decision, you're faced with another new decision to be made. Absolutely.
This reminds me of
It
a
is-
conversation we had
yes.
It
earlier
is so
this year.
important to be decisive. right?
Yes.
So important.
Make a decision.
Yeah. Don't
This-
sit there and waffle.
This reminds me of a conversation we had earlier this year where we were talking about owning a business or starting a business or basically letting go of that security blanket of working for someone else, and why most people don't do it is because of the stress and the risk of having to make decisions.
Yeah.
Well, my biggest problem.
Most people don't want the responsibility of suffering the consequences of those decisions to be made.
Correct, right? But my biggest problem with people that don't make a decision, not making a decision is
You've
a
made a
decision.
decision, yeah.
Right? It's a decision. So make a decision. If you are right, fantastic. If you are wrong, learn
Your
from
name is
it.
Gary.
That's
No.
all it is.
Just
Yeah.
kidding.
By default.
Make a decision.
Yeesh.
You cannot not make a
Gary's
decision.
rubbing off on me,
because
can you
that is
tell?
a decision
I
in
can
and of
tell.
itself.
Billy asks, Alfred, throw up his comment there. Are you going to start selling apparel?
He said appeal.
Appeal.
I'm assuming he means apparel.
I think he meant apparel.
I think he means are you talking about like tactical type gear apparel, Billy?
The answer is yes.
I have access to all of that, yeah.
Right now we're kind of out of floor space in the shop.
We are.
That's something we need to look at going into next year is, expanding the shop. And I think that's definitely doable. There's some other locations, even on Summit Point, that we can expand that. So we'll definitely be looking at that. And then we can definitely put some things in the online store. We get, it's so easy to get pulled too many different directions. And even with what we have, we're probably guilty of that. And not only that, a lot of these companies, whether it's 511,
Yeah.
all these companies, right? It's a huge investment.
And then it's sitting there for a while.
Minimum is like, for most buy-in as a dealer is $5,000. And then you have other ones like Night Force is $50,000. We spent that plus with Zico. So anyways, the answer is yes. We plan on continuing to expand what and part of that process is, look, folks, I genuinely, if I'm like, all right, I need to look at getting into this arena, whether it be, one of the things I'm looking at right now is like safety glasses and sunglasses. So, ordering, number one, getting smart on that area,
Trying
and
out
then
different things.
trying out different things and researching those companies, making sure they have, you know, a good customer service aspect. They have a good history.
It's a good product.
It's a good product. And then the part of it is also figuring out, you know, is it worth buying? You know, really we've kind of looked at, you know, if your margin is 10%, which is what some of these are, like, it doesn't make sense.
doesn't
You're
make
losing
sense.
money when you're paying like 3 to 4% on just on credit card fees,
And
and then
then-
you pay shipping.
Yep.
You're done. You lost money.
And now
So
that doesn't even include if you hire an employee to work the store. Now you got to pay an
100%.
employee.
Yep.
You know, basically, there's sometimes on some things where we lose a margin, and I'm sitting there working for free, shipping that order, processing
Yep.
that order, ordering more product, and you know, I'll come to Gary and say it just does not make sense for us to continue to do this.
and on the other side of that, there are some products that we carry that are literally either the only option in that arena or are by far the best option.
And there's just not really a margin.
We're not making money on it, but we're carrying that because it's the best product that represents, you know.
Or something we truly believe in.
It works. Yeah,
it works.
correct. It works. Yep.
Yeah, you know, Bravo 4 Solutions says people don't consider buy-in and, more importantly, overhead costs. How long do you hold on to a product before you can ever sell it?
And that even factors
Well-
in, especially in West Virginia, because in West Virginia,
Yep.
every July they charge you property tax on your business inventory. So and then the next July, if that same item is still in my inventory,
Yep.
I have to pay the same tax on
It's
it
taxed
again.
twice. Yeah.
And for every year it's in my inventory, I pay tax on it.
If you have a product that you bought to sell and you have it for 10 years, you've paid property taxes on that
10 times.
Yeah. That's
It is
terrible.
Yeah.
insane.
And West
Terrible.
Virginia is
And-
one of the few states that do that. And then people in this area wonder why there's a lot of businesses that don't want to come and open up here. Well, that's why, because they're having to pay tax on everything sitting in their store.
Right. Well,
Or
I
in a
mean,
warehouse.
It's better than New York.
Well,
Right. Like,
sure.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, you know, there's so many. Look, let me tell you something. If I'm glad where we're at, but if somebody sat me down and Gary said, look, this is what goes into running a business, and these are the costs that you're going to incur, I would have been like, you're crazy. That
Yeah.
makes no sense.
I probably would've been like, see,
go
I'm
to
not doing
Virginia.
Yeah. All right, folks, we're going to wind this thing down. Listen, again, we are so thankful for each and every one of you.
Yep.
You know, especially you guys that show up every single Wednesday or when we throw up an extra one. Chad Kelly's right up there. Margins are a bitch. OEM motorcycle parts for my racers and support program. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to make between taxes and all the other regulations and fees and everything else. It gets really tough, and all those little things, they add up so quick.
Well,
so
just
quick.
real quick before you close out,
Yep.
speaking of margins, tomorrow's the last day for those for the Zeiss scope sales. So yeah, jump on that. Margins are lower. We don't care. We want to sell more scopes to you and get those good scopes in your hands. So jump over there and get those scopes.
Folks,
on sale.
I cannot.
because
say-
tomorrow's the last day.
Yep, I can't say enough about that S3, and I'll be shooting a video pretty soon on those and doing some comparison and showing you guys. But I'll tell you, if nothing else, a backup scope for that scope for $1,700, it's hard to beat. And I have more to say on that. I'm not going to say it right now, but it is unbelievable value. It really is. The quality, the craftsmanship, the features on those, unbelievable. All right, listen, folks, we really do appreciate all of your support for 2023. We look forward to your support in 2024, and we look forward to seeing you guys here. I don't know, man. I'm leaving 2023 very thankful. I'm very excited about what 2024 has to offer. It's going to be even a better year, both for us and for every one of you as well. So get out there, freaking kill it. And until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you soon.